everyone, and welcome to another Sovereign Citizen Watch. How's everyone doing? I'm Judge Hannah, and as you can see, the judge outfit won today. We are looking at even more sovereign citizens today. Delete Laws has decided to get into an argument with an older woman at the post office, as you do when your life is going real good. Yeah, and some other stuff. Marcel has some new members, so some new marks. Should be good. We are on a hype train, by the way. 22% to level 2 on the hype train if you want to support the stream. Subscribing, gifting subs, or bits help. Chromatic Cuttlefish, thanks for 35 months at tier 2, says first. That's a nice first. Thank you very much. Lisa Lamb, thanks for 4 months. That's a cute little sparkly emote of me. Lucas Dawn, thanks for 47 months. Cool beans. Hey, Amber. I'm doing good. How are y'all doing? Isn't that Glenn's gig? No kidding. Delete Laws is stealing our jobs. Hey, Just a Peach, how's it going? EP, understandable, is a very EP day. We should all be EP. We're just gonna do a stream one day, and it's just gonna be a nap stream, and we're all just gonna nap together. Be very nice. It'll be ambiance. It'll be good. I kind of like these for the judge costume, but also they're my reading glasses, so I can't really see from this far away. The screen. Myra Soma, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you very, very much for your generous drop of gift subs. Level 2 complete. Raining here, y'all want to nap? Yeah. I like rain. Chill. Makes you sleepy. What's next? Is Chile going to declare himself Postmaster General of the United States? Obviously, we know that title is reserved for David-Win Miller. Excuse you. Don't besmirch his name. Or whatever the other guy's name is. Christian Thomas on YouTube says, I use your voice for so much napping. Parasocial nap. Hey, if that... I don't know why my voice would make you want to fall asleep, but if it does, more power to you. Very happy for you. You're 6, you're gonna go home and nap and listen to me? Oh, I hope the nap's good. I hope you feel better. Sorry you came down with something. Never fun. That's a frame to come in on. I always try and pick. I don't know if anyone notices. I do try and open the show with something that I think is a funny freeze frame. Or at least emblematic of what we're going to be doing that day. He tips his hat to miladies, or whatever. This is the guy that has the fursona. So once again, furries in my chat, I have to ask. Who do I blame for this? Just saying. Putting it out there. You have tea, so you're relaxing? That sounds nice. I have Coke Zero, as I always do, because I like to be poisoned by artificial sweeteners. So that's pretty good. 52% to level... Not showing right now, I should have waited. Moira Soma, thanks for gifting a sub to Spokane Dogman. 76% to level 3. I think what makes it even funnier is the fact that he pauses on the frame a little bit. Hold on, I'll show you. Let me pause the music. Check out what he does. You can tell he's like posing for it for the camera.
What's up, guys? It is the best.
Hey, you know, ask not for whom the bell cringes. It cringes for thee, you know? We're all victims of our own cringiness sometimes. Let he who has not done cringe cast the first oof. Alright? I have done plenty of cringe things in my time. But I don't know. Just him anticipating the... Don't know. Not a fan.
What's up, guys? It is...
What's up, guys? I am on the internet playing a character. Alright. Anyway. We're still on the hype train, 76% to level 3. While that's going, we will start our first video. We have a couple of traffic stops that involve the same sovereign citizen. Then we have some court stuff, like I said. Delete laws gets into a fight, a verbal fight, an argument. Don't want to clickbait. In the post office, and Marcel has some new marks. So, let's start out, shall we? Chilly, I know. Ask not for whom the fedora tips. It tips for thee. I have my wireless headphones connected, right? I would have had to. I looked for stuff. It's just muted right now.
How's it going? 10-12. How's it going?
Can I help
Yes, sir. I'm stopping you for your window tint.
you? A window tint.
Yes, sir.
Didn't think that was any more an issue in South Carolina.
Sir?
I didn't think that was an issue in South Carolina.
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, it was on there when I got it. So.
I got you. You got your license registration?
Those windows are too tinted, which he claims the people who sold him the window tint said was fine. Possible that happened. It's possible he was lied to. Here's the problem. He also doesn't have a license and registration, because he's a sovereign citizen. That's a shame. Nemesaur, thank you so much for gifting 10 tier 1 subs, rather. 73% to level 5. Almost a level 5 on the hype train. Thank you, Nemesaur.
Insurance?
Well, that's the thing about that. I don't have none of that either.
Why not?
And I've already went to court and won on the court about all this. I don't understand why the word is not being given to you guys. Actually, you guys, is that on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, actually, Trooper Courtroom, you familiar with Mr. Courtroom?
Yes, sir.
He dropped 6 charges for, I guess, the lack of jurisdiction, for better use words for it.
So he apparently had a previous case about this that was dropped, and he thinks that because the case was dropped for some reason, that means that he doesn't need to have a license and registration. He's incorrect. I don't know why that case was dropped. Maybe the cops didn't show up to testify. Maybe something was wrong on the paperwork. I don't know. But it doesn't mean he's allowed to not have a driver's license, which he does not understand.
I got you. So,
And not to mention the one I won in the county up here in the courthouse.
that's fine. So what's your name?
Can't really give you any information because
Alright.
that's you're gonna use it against me.
D25. Hey, come here.
Oh, let me get this paper.
I see this. You feel it fits the theme? Is that a raccoon?
Hi, how are we doing today? I'm Officer
Good.
Brandon, Springfield Township Police Department.
Okay, stop it, Josh. How are you?
So the reason I stopped you is you are suspended with a warrant for your arrest.
I am?
So do me a favor, turn off the car, put the keys up on the dash, detain you for that warrant, and because you are suspended actively. Oh. Hey.
What?
Come here.
Hello?
The raccoon has her meth pipe.
As what?
Oh my god.
Her meth pipe.
You gotta be-
He's playing with the meth
Hello?
pipe right now. No, don't reach
I'm
for
waiting on
it.
you.
That's
I know
evidence
where
now.
you're at.
Oh, I don't want him to have
Well,
that.
that's why I'm gonna do it.
Hey, buddy.
Huh?
It's okay.
Okay, you're on Arlington. He'll be here in 2 minutes. I'm right across from my house.
Is that what that
A
is?
few minutes?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is what she's smoking meth in.
Okay.
The raccoon
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your raccoon is?
playing with her meth pipe.
Alright.
Oh, there's no.
See you when-
He's trying to smoke it.
Alright.
Did this lady give this raccoon meth at some point, and now this raccoon is addicted to meth?
There's no way.
This the direct-to-DVD sequel to Cocaine Bear?
All right, enough fun and games.
Here.
You
Okay, since we are just I did have one thing I wanted to show you. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up. What the heck was the name of the thing? I know I sent it to Baja earlier, so I just need to find what the name of the video was. Delco. There it is. This isn't a sovereign citizen thing, but it's about as close as... I'm not even going to pretend it's close. It's a crime thing. That's as close as we're going to get. Minute left on the hype train, almost to level 5.
Now to this, a bizarre and nasty The road rage incident caught on camera is also catching the eyes of police and social media users.
A Delaware County woman is facing multiple charges after she is seen defecating on a car hood. This was all after an apparent dispute with the driver. NBC 10's Lily Zhang was in Prospect Park as the suspect was taken into custody.
30 seconds on the hype train.
The police chief for Prospect Park says he has seen some road rage cases during his career. Somebody cuts someone off, then the drivers might get into a heated exchange. Then
Nelson JD, thanks for gifting a sub 91% to level 5.
Typically drive away. But in this case on Tuesday, there was a little more to that, and the incident was captured on video by a bystander.
That video, shared thousands of times on Instagram, shows a woman identified Thursday as Christina Salameto walking to another woman's car.
Thanks for the hype train.
The 44-year-old sits on the hood, or not showing the most graphic parts of the video, including when she appeared to defecate on the car.
I did the dirty work for you, and I did watch the full unedited video. It's I don't condone weaponizing your bodily waste, but if you're gonna do it, she's like a crack shot. She's pretty good.
I know it's being joked about a lot. I know there's all kinds of puns, innuendo, and humor online about this, but you know, the bottom line is we are treating it seriously. No, it can't happen in this community. No town wants this to happen in their town.
No one wants to be known as the town where that lady shit on the car.
Prospect Park Police Chief David Madonna says it happened by 4th and Madison. Like most people in this neighborhood, police say they too found out about the incident through social media.
I didn't think it was real at first.
I think we thought it was fake news.
It was hilarious. And
Oh, God. Oh, Sean, for some reason, I'm just thinking about how Sean Baker's one of my favorite directors. America, America.
same sense. Like, to be able to poop on a car like that was impressive, but it was disgusting at the same sense.
Crazy.
I'm glad someone gave her some credit for, like, the crack shot asshole. I again, shouldn't have done it. But if you're gonna do it, that's like, it's kind of like as impressive as when Bryan Cranston threw that pizza on the roof for Breaking Bad in one take. Like that, but with an asshole.
She had to go.
Christina, do you have a comment?
Salameto was brought to the Prospect Park Police Department Thursday in handcuffs, offering no remarks. She faces a number of charges, including indecent exposure and depositing waste on a highway.
Yeah, she did do that.
Recognition a town gets over this kind of thing, it's really unwelcome. We don't want this.
Chief Madonna says
we do not want you shitting on our automobiles. I wasn't shitting. I was merely letting my fecal matter travel to the car's surface.
Any road rage incident, there's always a level of frustration, but never
just the blurred out poop on the all right, well, there's that.
Need for it to escalate.
There's anger. People are in a hurry to get everywhere. Things are certainly tumultuous in our country, to say the least. There's a lot of anger.
We've never been more divided than we are right now.
And sometimes this is how it presents itself.
Now, we spoke with the suspect's family a little earlier this evening. They did not agree to an on-camera interview, but they claim that there is more to the story than just the video that's being shared. I am told that they are working on getting an attorney. Reporting in Prospect Park.
Literally, it shows her shitting on the car on camera. What could the defense be? Okay. All right, I digress.
Understand that.
So, let me ask you.
E25. I need E1025.
Are you going to be using any of this information or documentation against me in a court of law?
E25, we're at the Dollar General, US 29. Alright. Look, don't make it harder than it needs to be.
I'm not trying to do that, sir. I really am not.
You don't have a license?
Alright.
Sure can.
1010 black.
I got the, can I get some different paperwork right
Is
here?
he ashing
that's fine.
into his car? It looks like he's literally going back so he can ash his cigarette into his vehicle. Am I crazy? Nerdy with 60 bits says the Lotor movies have a couple of things like that. Gandalf's horse stopped exactly where the crew wanted it to the first time. The crew immediately yelled cut because they knew that wouldn't happen again. There's a shot in the second movie where the flag is blown off a pole and land next to Aragorn. That wasn't an effect or setup. They were just filming somewhere really fucking windy. Yeah. Did you know that what's-his-face actually blocked that fucking dagger or whatever? That's a movie trivia everyone knows.
No weapons in the car?
Careful.
Here's the,
You got
The
insurance?
dash of cars had ashtrays. My grandpa had like a vintage Lincoln Continental car from like the 70s. And it had like all electric windows and doors and everything back in the 70s. This was like an expensive car back in the day. And every seat had like these classy fucking ashtrays. Like this was a car where they were expecting you, the driver, every passenger was gonna be fucking smoking at the same time. Hilarious.
Insurance on the vehicle?
there's the tickets from 21. From the county.
10-4. Solid.
From the county, sir. And here's the, well, I went to court and proved all that I didn't need the insurance or the license or anything.
What's Caitlin Bennett up to now? I actually don't know. I haven't kept up with her. I know she had a kid. She might have started focusing more on that.
I proved that in court, and there's the dismissal. You can see.
Again, a dismissal is irrelevant. That doesn't set some kind of precedent. They dismissed it.
Well, it's got information on there that he's going to use against me.
Alright, so this is where we're at. I'm asking for your information due to you driving on a state highway.
It's a public highway, right?
The state is actually United States highway. US 29.
It's a public highway, right?
So, are you failing to identify yourself?
You suspect me of a crime.
I do.
And that would be?
When 10.
When the 10th?
Yes, sir.
Is there an injured party involved?
Doesn't matter, state law.
It does matter, sir. It has to be an injured party in order for there to be a crime.
Alright.
I mean, all the justices, the Supreme Court and everything's already upheld all these decisions. So.
They always say, like, the Supreme Court ruled this, but the Supreme Court has never ruled you don't need a license. They just repeat it because someone else said that to them. It's like it's a phantom citation. It's just the idea that there's some court case out there that did it, and that's enough. Ugh.
That's fine.
And I'm just trying to get the point across to you guys, because you guys have been lied to as well.
All right.
Like even here is the South Carolina Supreme Court case that the state can only impose a fee for compensation of the highways on motor vehicles exclusively in interstate commerce.
Yes, sir.
I'm not acting in interstate commerce or any kind of commerce for that matter. And here, South Carolina versus U.S., the Constitution is a written instrument. As such, its meaning does not alter that which it meant when it was adopted. It means now, further, the right to travel by private conveyance, which is this, for private purposes, which is what I'm doing, upon the common way cannot be infringed. Are you even?
I'm listening to you.
I mean, but you don't seem like you're listening to me.
I'm listening to you.
So what's?
Soda says you can't license a right, and they say traveling by car is a right. To be clear, I don't think the Supreme Court has said traveling by car is a right. They've said traveling is a right because you're allowed to travel via the roadways. You're allowed to walk. You're allowed to use bicycles. You're allowed to travel in interstate without being stopped. But, like, operating a vehicle on public roadways is licensable as long as it is a standardized test, which I know you know, I'm just clarifying.
So no license or permission is required for travel when such travel is not for the purpose
In the state of South
Commercial
Carolina,
property
you
games.
must have a driver's license.
But the state has already. This is the state's decision.
Yeah, I knew what you meant, Jay's a proxy. I was just clarifying.
South Carolina, you have to have a driver's license. You have to present it to me.
If I work for the state, yes, sir. Can we get a county deputy out there? County in?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I got small paper.
Another one who seems to think that the county deputy is going to have a different opinion about things.
All right, spread your feet for me.
Oh, he gets arrested.
I've been seeing court up here. I did.
Shocking. Anyway, let's check out Delete Laws' interaction. Now, I don't... we'll just watch it. I don't need a lot of prefacing. Basically, he's in a post office. He starts getting in a discussion with this lady. I don't know why. I don't know why he decided to have a discussion with this lady, but he does. So I guess let's hear his stimulating debate in the post office.
So we have a basic difference of perception.
Oh, I'm gonna skip this little intro he does with music.
And you're cuffed up behind space. Always torture. But all these are comfortable. And then you. No, they're not.
Okay.
But I thought you said.
God. Hold on a second.
Really?
Yes.
But I thought you said you watch cop cam and almost all of them say these hurt.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so then the torture cuffs are always torture. Every time. No matter who they put.
MH Dark Beast with a 3-stream streak says, "Hey Hannah, I know you just play D&D now, but check this adorableness from Pathfinder, pigeon-sized dragons. I do like a good tiny dragon."
No.
No, they're not.
Okay, so hold on a second.
But for you to believe that torture cuffs are not torture, when on every video you watch, you hear the person say, "Ow, these are hurting me," maybe, and then you even repeat what the cops say, which is they're not supposed to be comfortable.
Yeah,
they're not. That's morbid.
There we go. Now we're at the beginning. Sorry, he did that thing where he shows clips.
So, let me ask you a question then.
Yeah.
Have you ever been put
So clearly he had already had some sort of interaction with her, because this is the beginning of this clip. But we don't see that. We just see he's now going to talk to her.
in handcuffs before?
Never had the need to.
Right.
Yeah.
They're
There's some where they've gone too far, but all the ones on club cam and stuff, like,
yeah.
you're just glad that they pulled these people over. And then the people are acting the fool, like they won't get out of the car, they won't give them any information, and just cop cams, they all come up. And you'll see the people they're pulling over. And you'll see they're very polite, they're just asking for stuff, and the people just won't comply.
So then they should be put in torture cuffs and drug off to a dungeon.
They're not drug off to a dungeon, they take you to the jailhouse where they are.
So what is the...
I don't know why Delete Laws incessantly chooses to frame every situation in the most melodramatic way possible. They don't put you in handcuffs and drive you to jail. They put you in torture cuffs and drag you to the dungeon. Does he not know how this makes him look like an asshole? Like, this just makes anyone who even recognizes, like, hey, we need, like, reform in policing and how it's done. But why would you listen to Chili about it? He's fucking embarrassing.
Jailhouse, do you get some banana bread?
No, they're not going to die in jail.
all the time.
Oh, God. Hold on a second. Yeah, so,
It's basically becoming don't insult her.
Alrighty.
Don't
Okay, so
insult-
here's the
don't
thing.
insult her.
Just
Don't-
watch cop cam.
Don't insult her.
And you'll see what happens.
Listen, I'm not insulting you.
Joseph Goebbels.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah.
Did he just compare her to Joseph Goebbels? Goebbels was the head of propaganda for Nazi Germany? That's, again, maybe a little melodramatic as a comparison for this lady.
Okay, alright.
Listen, I'm not...
I assume he cares if he looks like an asshole. I think he cares, but in the opposite way he should. I think he wants to look like an asshole because I think he is aware that looking inflammatory will make more people talk about it, and he gets clout because of it, or at least that's his thought. I think that kind of thing isn't as effective as it used to be. I think there's so much noise of this kind of thing that people just tune it out now. Look at someone like Johnny Somali. If you've covered, or if you've followed any of that at all. Like, I feel like 10 years ago, Johnny Somali would have had more of an audience. But these days, I feel like pretty much virtually everyone is on the same page of like, oh my god, we're so sick of this garbage. I just think the strategy of being an obnoxious asshole for clout isn't as effective as it used to be because people are kind of numb to it. Not saying people get no audience because of it, I just think it's less of an effective strategy.
I'm not going to call you blind. I'm not going to insult you. But let me say something to you. Just listen. If you haven't been taken down to the dungeon, you don't know what it is.
I've been to jail.
For how long?
I've been to jail for like a couple of hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you got out within a couple hours, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when they lock you in a jail and they put you on a metal bench with concrete floors and benches, after just a few hours, what happens is you get real uncomfortable. And then there's freezing cold, and then they treat you terribly. The food is like not made for human consumption.
Hey, hold on a second. That's the second issue. I agree that the jail system and the prison system has to be changed. I don't have any disagreement with that. Absolutely has to be changed.
She got a DUI probably. No, she was protesting. She talks about it at some point. She got arrested at a protest. I don't know what for, but it was like 10 years ago.
Do you think that...
But we're talking about cuffs and people getting arrested.
So tell me about the cuffs again. I'm just curious. So you think that when
Is Johnny Somali the jerk who's facing time in South Korea? Yes, he is.
Cop says I can get 2 fingers in there, that it's not torture?
Yeah, I don't think that's torture.
Then come to my studio.
I don't need to.
I mean, listen.
It's what I'm saying.
He's inviting her to his studio? What the fuck? Oh, God.
That it's not torture, it's painful. That's not torture.
No, constant pain being distributed is torture.
For less than 20 minutes from there to the...
Is that what you're thinking?
I wouldn't even concede that handcuffs always hurt. Handcuffs can hurt. I will concede that handcuffs absolutely can hurt. But they don't as a standard.
When you get to the jail, they don't take them off of you.
I will repeat what I have said about Chili before. I'm fairly certain that most of the pain he feels in regard to being handcuffed is not physical, it's psychological. I think he's horrified whenever he feels he's not in control of a situation, whenever he doesn't feel like he's the most important person in charge of a room, so he freaks out, and I think he almost has like a panic attack. He really does seem to get distressed. I'm not making light of that when he gets handcuffs put on him. And he just projects that onto everyone. He doesn't understand that, like, a lot of what you're experiencing is very specific to you, and you, like, are assuming everyone has a borderline panic attack when they're restrained, which isn't true. Sometimes people like to be restrained. Some people have handcuffs recreationally, which I know they're different handcuffs, but just making a joke.
They do.
No, they don't.
They do in all of these videos. They do. The cuffs come off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's why you have to look.
So
you're
just,
not.
I don't look.
You're
right?
not paying attention.
Oh, I'm not.
No.
I'm not one of the top activists in the country?
Because you just said the cuffs don't come off, but they do. They always come off when they get to the jail.
Oh.
Yeah, they sit them down. The cuffs come off. They get breathalyzer tests.
So you being tortured for 30 minutes or an hour is no big
It's
deal.
not torture.
Well, you've never had them on.
Yeah.
Let me put them on you.
Why?
So you can experience this.
It's
You'll
pain.
change.
Okay, so it's painful.
No, it's not okay. It's painful. It's torture.
Okay, so then what happens is they go, okay, it's too tight, and they loosen up, and the guy stops complaining.
Really?
Yes.
But I thought you said you watch Cop Cam and almost all of them
do.
say these hurt.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so then the torture cuffs are always torture every time, no matter who they put them in.
No.
No, they're not.
Okay, so hold on a second. I understand your point you're making. I don't agree with it. That's all.
Okay,
That's
so
all. It's just that simple. You're not going to convince me.
If I grabbed your finger and I twisted it back and I left it in that position for hours on end, which they do. When you get to the jail, they often cuff you in the waiting room.
No, they don't.
Oh, they do? I just...
Nerdy with 40 bits says some people hear dungeon and it's the best offer they've heard all day.
I was in jail. I was in jail for 4 months for filming a cop. Yeah, for real.
So
for filming a cop.
Then why are they taking the cuffs off in these videos?
Oh,
so in my experience, it really depends. I watch, arrest videos and stuff because obviously stuff like this interests me. It depends. If the suspect is generally compliant and like chill and understands like, okay, I'm under arrest, this sucks. Obviously no one enjoys being arrested. But the person basically accepts it and is like, okay, let's go. And they more or less comply. Then yes, they will more often get them taken off when they're getting booked in at the station. The times when I don't see them do that is generally when someone has actively been trying to escape the cops or like have resisted arrest, like, and I don't just mean like, oh, you resisted arrest because I'm pissed off at you and I want to put a charge on, like actually resisted arrest. So I would disagree that they always take them off, with the caveat that generally when I have seen them not take them off, it is actively because the person has shown that they are actively trying to escape police custody, which is the entire point of the handcuffs, is to prevent that.
I don't know which videos you're watching exactly.
I'm telling
Do
you,
wanna send it to
all
me?
of them.
Can you send it to me?
Just Google cop cam. Cop cam. Just Google cop cam on YouTube.
Go ahead, show me your latest cop video. So
Well,
I
I
can
don't
see it.
know what my latest is, but
Can you look at my channel and watch my channel so you understand the difference? Because you're watching a cop's perspective.
well, I'm just watching
Pain
what the,
isn't always torture. Sometimes a lack of pain can be torture. See Chinese water torture. That's just making me think of my movie, Chinese Torture Chamber. Where is that one? Pretty good. Chinese Torture Chamber is a really weird movie. It's like a Japanese, or is it Hong Kong? Is it a Hong Kong film? I don't know. Either way, it has a fight scene that's also a sex scene with, like, wire work. Very weird movie.
camera's filming. It's not their perspective, it's just what the camera's filming.
They don't target you. They target minorities and they target poor people.
No, they target everybody who's drunk and weaving all over the road. They're white, they're black, they're Mexican. They're not just black people on these cameras.
No, pure numbers, it's more white people than anybody else. But that's because white people make up more than 50% of the society. But for you to believe that torture cuffs are not torture, when on every video you watch, you hear the person say, ow, these are hurting me. Maybe, and then you even...
I would also like to point out I don't hear that on every arrest video. Many people are handcuffed and are fine with it.
Repeat what the cops say, which is they're not supposed to be comfortable.
Hong Kong Category 3 film. There you go.
Yeah, they're not.
That's morbid.
Yeah.
That's morbid. You haven't been convicted of a crime.
Moira Soma with 100 bits says, I have severe pain and inflammation in my arms, and they're so stiff that I'm not sure it would be possible to get them behind my back. If I lived in America, would they not agree to have they cuff my hands in the front, because that would be torture for me? It's really going to depend on the cops, unfortunately. Usually, I've seen if you say that you have some sort of problems like that, they'll usually daisy chain handcuffs together so that your hands aren't, like, pulled close together, so it gives them more, like, leeway. That's been my experience seeing cops, but it's going to depend on the cop. Like, I don't agree with Chili, but that doesn't make cops super kind, awesome people all the time, unfortunately.
Why are you being hurt?
Okay, we just have a difference of opinion.
No. You have no experience. You just told me you've never been in torture cuffs. And I invited you to come down and let me put you in torture cuffs for 15 minutes.
Watch.
My cousin changed her opinion when I put her in cuffs for 20 minutes. She then decided they were torture. But you first have to be put in them just for 20 minutes.
I mean, you have to watch these for a long. I don't have time to sit here, but here.
Oh, sure. Let me see what you're looking at.
So there's this.
Midwest Safety. So this is a cop channel ran by a cop.
Okay, so here we go.
Let me see what else.
They're all cops.
Midwest Crime. That's a cop channel ran by a cop. That's a cop who's giving you the narrative.
Okay, yeah, that's that. I've got that guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's cool. So.
You're going Midwest Safety again. It's all cop videos.
Yeah, but no, they're all cop videos. They're
produced by cops though. Those
yeah, but
videos
not all of them.
Okay.
So like, here's one.
I don't understand what because they're like, their body cam footage. It's gonna come from channels that primarily do body cam footage, many of which are cop related. That doesn't mean you have to like the person who puts the content out there, necessarily. It's just where the footage is coming from. You can go and look at it. What's the problem? I don't get it.
Law and crime.
Can I show you something real fast? Let me see this. I'll get right back to you. I'm not going to take your phone. I would never.
No, I know you're not.
Would never steal from you. I won't even
That's a weird thing to bring up.
insult you if we disagree.
Okay, hold on a second. This is. We're about to help.
Hey, Phoenix.
Hi, I have a question.
So this is my channel right here.
Yeah.
See that? And this is where they put me in jail for filming a cop.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I sat in that dungeon for 4 months, was treated absolutely horribly. And then I got out on appeal because
Oh my god, he was not saying at the time he was being treated horribly. When he first got in there, he talked about how he didn't like to shit in jail, which, yeah, fair enough. And then most of the updates, he was like, they're actually not bad. Things are fine. Now he's gonna try and claim it was fucking torture.
Didn't do anything wrong, but
Okay.
film a cop.
Listen. I have no disagreement with the prison system. Once you get into the prisons, it sucks. It's stupid. Yeah, I don't have any disagreement with that.
Right.
But I do think people should get arrested if they've committed crimes.
You think they should be arrested?
Yes.
You shouldn't get a ticket if you're not a danger to society?
No, because you give them a ticket.
Oh, this next take is crazy. He basically says that, like, drunk drivers shouldn't get arrested.
And they drive away, and they're drunk.
Well, if they're drunk, then you impound their car.
No, you take them out of the car. What if there's kids sitting in the car?
You take the kids?
And they do impound the car. They drag the car away.
Right, so then you
So you're gonna take someone who's drunk driving and just leave them on the side of the road. Also, they were drunk driving. They need to go to jail. Like, what don't you understand? They committed a crime that shouldn't be a ticket. He's even agreeing that the system overall sucks. I know, that's what's frustrating about it. Like, people die all the time because of drunk drivers. The cops aren't trying to be a buzzkill and be like, oh man, that's not cool that you're drinking and driving, man. It's because it puts people in danger. Like, people die every day because someone was stupid and got drunk or high or whatever and went to go fucking drive. It's serious.
don't need to put that person in a cage because they can't drive anymore.
It frustrates me. I've told you guys this before. My mom has multiple DUIs. And then I had to go pick her up from, like, fucking jail when she did that shit. Frustrates the hell out of me.
So you just let them go
And you
and
give them
they
a ticket,
get
and
an
then
Uber?
they have to go to court. Yeah, they get an Uber and they go home. Right, because you don't need to put them in a dungeon.
No, but they've been driving drunk. It's illegal to drive drunk.
So then they should go to a jail?
They have to. They go to jail. They get, and then they get.
And that's a whole industry, a whole system where people are making money.
Once again, the jails. I'm so frustrated. Courts do not make money. We are not talking about a for-profit prison system. We're talking about the local jail, the county jail, run literally where you go in and you get held until you have your little thing in front of the judge. You can get arraigned, right? We aren't talking about for-profit prisons. We're talking about taking someone to the drunk tank because they were driving drunk to make sure that they can sober up before they get arraigned and then get a court date. We are not talking about people, making, products for some company that's paying a for-profit prison. These are separate issues entirely.
Tons of money.
Yeah.
Remember Trump got charged and he had to go down to the jail? Why was that? Because you have to go through the process so the jail can make money.
That I'm curious what he means by that. Does he literally think, like, they take money from you or something? Like, what the fuck are they talking about with that? Do they think they made money from Trump being arraigned?
Ding, did the light come on right there?
No,
I just saw a light come on. Did it?
No,
Come on.
no, it was more like, oh my God. It was more
Right,
like
there's a
that.
jail
What
industry.
do you mean bail? Does he know that you get bail money back? Like, you only don't get bail money back if you abscond. The entire point is that you get the money back. You give it to the court, and then when you show back up, they go, okay, here's the money back.
Yeah.
Do I remember his ideal system video? Oh, I do. Very silly.
So how's drunk driving going though? How's it going now? We've been doing this since.
If they change it to your way, people will stop drinking and driving?
It's worse than ever before. It's 1991.
Yeah.
The case is called.
This is annoying too. He says it's worse than ever before. I looked this up earlier. Drunk driving has been on a downslope since, I think, 1988. The trend since 2020, I think actually since 2022, it bumped up slightly, but it's still, the stat is on a downward slope since the 80s. So the idea that it's the worst it's ever been is just a lie. Just a fucking lie. He's lying. Drunk driving has consistently been down.
Michigan State Police versus SITS.
It seems like it went up a little bit after COVID, basically. After COVID lockdowns eased up and, like, bars and restaurants were open again, drunk driving went back up slightly, but it still has been on a downward trend for decades.
And in that case, it decided that you could set up DUI checkpoints. How's it going?
Well,
worse than ever.
Yeah, of course
It's not worse than ever. He's just lying or making stuff up, or he thinks he can just say things and no one's going to look it up.
Worse than ever.
Right. So putting people in dungeons isn't working.
Nothing is going to work. People are always getting drunk.
Also, I would point out that, again, the drunk driving has decreased, and in the decades since drunk driving has become illegal and there's been more crackdowns on it with stuff through, like, MAD, there have been a lot more diversion programs, so trying to funnel people. Certainly they get arrested for drunk driving, but then once they get into the system, they don't just attempt to, like, put them in jail and, you know, put points on their license. They will do deferment programs to try and get these people into treatment for alcoholism, because often when you're drinking and driving, there's a component of alcoholism. So again, it's not a perfect system. I wish that the system was much more oriented towards, like, solutions like that. But we are working towards it. We are working towards trying to get people help. Chili's idea is just to tell people, oh, okay, you're alcoholic drunk driver, here's a fine. That's not a solution in any way, shape, or form.
They have
Thank you, Badger.
to pay for that.
Tell your spouse I said thank you as well.
And paying for that means they go to jail.
No, they don't. They go to jail. They get bailed out.
Oh, so the jail makes money and the bail bonds.
No, what the jail doesn't make, again, he was in jail. How does he not know how bond works? You get them, is it because he's ran away, so he didn't get the money back? So he thinks that's just how it works? You get the money back. What are you talking about, Chili?
Makes money, but the person, their car is impounded.
Oh,
They have to pay to get their car out of impound, and then what? Then they have to fight the charges.
Yes, that's right. That's right. They have to get their car gets impounded. They have to pay for the car to get out.
But they got to pay for themselves to get out
And
of
then
the
they have
dungeon.
to get themselves.
Doesn't he always run after bailing out? I know he did in Ohio. I don't know other than that.
Pay for themselves. Yeah, that's called punishment.
Oh, but you haven't been convicted of a crime.
You've been found drunk. That's a criminal offense.
You've been charged with a crime.
No, you've been found drunk.
How do
You've
I
been
get you?
found drunk. Like you breathe into the breathalyzer. You're going like this. You say they have to go to court to prove they weren't drunk?
No, they have their day in court to fight the charges.
Why would they fight the charge? Why would you give them a day in court to fight the charges? If they've been found drunk, they have been found drunk.
Because that's your Fifth Amendment and Sixth Amendment, your right to due process.
But that's where we're wasting time, if you want to say we're wasting time. Look at these people. They're out of control. They're driving drunk. They got kids in the car. They're swerving.
How did this begin? We didn't see the very beginning, so I'm not sure how he instigated the conversation, but they're just at the post office and he decided to get into an argument with this lady.
Going through red lights.
You're watching cop channels and then coming to a person who's an activist and saying, hey, the cop channels are all showing us the bad parts. What about the cops who beat, abuse, kill?
That's wrong too.
And then you said the torture cuffs aren't torture because they can get 2 fingers in there. That's what you said.
Rickham says, please comment. What mean, please comment?
They're not torture because you can get 2 fingers in there.
Okay, so we have a basic difference of perception.
Well, because you've never been put in cuffs.
I cannot convince you that you're wrong.
No,
you cannot convince me that
No,
I'm
because
wrong.
you won't go through the experience. Listen,
I don't care.
You can come down to my studio.
I don't
we'll
want
put you in
to.
cuffs.
No, I don't want
and then
to.
you'll
Come down to my studio. We'll put you in cuffs. That's an offer.
see how painful they
Oh,
are.
it's painful, I'm sure.
So that's a good thing.
I think it's like if that's the way it is, because if they're loose, they get out of them. Why have them be loose so you can get out of them?
Or give them the option to get in the car and go with you.
To get in the car, yeah,
Right.
you got to look at some of this stuff. They go nuts.
I
They
never-
don't want to be put in a car. They
Right, and
they
it's-
are always like, you can't do this to me. What are you doing? And they're banging their head against the wall and they're kicking the thing over. Like this is, it's
Have
not
you-
like, oh, okay, I'll sit here and be quiet. Very rare.
Have you been put in the back of a cop car before?
Yes.
One time for protesting, right?
Yes.
And was it
with
how
the
long-
guy
how
who
long-
had me just?
How long ago was that?
I don't know, 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
In a tiny little space in the back of a car?
No, it was like a back of a car.
A regular back of a car?
Back of a cop car.
Right. So you haven't been in the cage cars where it's this much space, claustrophobic, and you're dying in there.
He's talking about, I think, when they're is he talking about like a paddy wagon, basically? I can't tell if he's talking about the ones where it's sort of sectioned off, so there's like almost two separate like cells in the back seat, which can be a little cramped, or if he's talking about like a paddy wagon.
And you're strapped in and you're cuffed up behind your back.
Then you've done a lot of shit to get to there.
No, it's a standard procedure.
Lucas Dawn says it's not rare that people cooperate, but they don't often enough to warrant restraints. Also, all the videos online, you're not going to see videos where people just comply. Like, that's a selection bias, basically, because you're not going to upload a video of someone who gets arrested and they just go, okay, and they just go, you know what I mean? If someone is uploading it online and it has views, likely something in the video happens that's interesting. In these cases, we're talking about when people usually aren't compliant.
Oh, no.
It's not?
It's not. Not on these.
Oh, not on Midwest Safety?
No, not on any of the cop cams.
Oh, it's not standard procedure to cuff you up and then put you in the back of a car?
No, they put you in the back of the car, but not.
Rick M says people can get a lot of consequences just from getting arrested. No judicial review. There's no compensation for unlawful arrest. I would agree with that. I disagree with her on where she was like, well, if you want to save time, that's where you blah, 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 talking about the, like, due process shit. I don't agree with that. I think that your car can be impounded like that, but I don't know if it should necessarily charge you money until you are found guilty for that reason. Because I do understand the due process issue, and I don't agree with her on that.
Cage.
There's a cage in the back of the car.
Sorry, my phone is making noise.
No, it's like a back seat of a car. It's a back seat of a police car.
It's a regular back seat?
Yeah.
You can open the back doors and just get in?
Well,
it's
no, you
problem?
can't open the back doors, but it's not a cage.
It's not?
It's like a taxi cab.
Oh, it is. It's like a
it's like, a thing at the front, and the door, except the doors are locked.
Wow. And all I do is I got a bunch of videos on that channel. I invite you to watch some of the videos so you can actually understand how it actually is.
Yeah.
Cops are scum.
I know
Cops are
how
scum.
it is.
They're absolute scumbags.
Yeah.
And the only reason they signed up, a third of them, is because they went to the military.
Yeah.
And they get back here and they were taught that everyone wants to kill them.
This is why I say we have a basic difference of perception.
Do you think the cops are the good guys?
I think there are a lot of good cops. Yes.
Thank you so much. I would never put you in torture cuffs unless you agreed and you understood it was going to be horribly painful.
I know.
Unless
We just have it.
Well, because you've never been in them, though. And
So what?
So let's put you in them so you understand that they shouldn't
So
be
what
used.
if they hurt?
Why should you hurt people? We live in a digital era where you can put someone on camera and
That's
give them
what
options.
you think. I don't agree with that. That's it. Can I disagree with you?
You bet. You
Yeah,
can
that's it. I'm just
So you'll watch
disagreeing
some of those
with you.
videos?
Yeah, sure. I'll watch them. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But you've never been in cuffs and you think they're perfectly fine in this?
I think they're
not,
fine. Yeah.
They're not supposed to be
I think
comfortable
they're
is what you
fine.
said,
They're
right?
not supposed to be comfortable.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
His whole strategy is interesting, too, because I don't know if you noticed this necessarily, but he puts himself up very intentionally as hostile, and then he gets people in positions to say things hostilely back, but then he'll back up a little bit and make them sort of step towards him. I'm not talking physically necessarily, I'm talking rhetorically. And then when they sort of become sort of the aggressor rhetorically, because they're fed up with him, he again retreats, which makes the other person look like the aggressor. I don't know if anyone else is noticing that. Trey might notice it. Trey is the kind of person that generally thinks about that kind of thing. He very much, like, gets in, jabs, pulls back, and then gets upset when they, like, come back at him. You know what I mean?
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah,
He tries to get other people to say inflammatory things, basically. He is instigating people with the intent.
Take care.
This guy sounds like an asshole. He is. Oh, and I like the little victorious music he put at the end here, too.
What a fucking wacko. And this is the reason why we're in the state that we're in right now. Because of people like her.
All right, then, delete laws. Very, very happy for you. All right, moving on. Let's see how Marcel's been doing. Remember when he said he was going to disappear and then he just never did?
Sorry for technical issues. Welcome to Monday.
No, explained a little bit, but basically what happened in 2009.
This is his staff meeting for the people who are working for him. They have new members, and he's basically talking about how their organization's going to run from now on.
We found out that the government was actually a USA-based corporation.
Incorrect.
What I thought was the government of Canada, again, is a foreign corporation that's bankrupt since 1933. I have a background as a sales consultant. I've worked with hundreds of companies, or at least over 100, maybe it's not hundreds, but over 100 companies where I've gone in, and by my third day, I triple whatever the top sales producer is doing, just by studying the product, simplifying it, taking the legal language out of it, using normal words that people understand, and then proactively answering any fear triggers that someone might have about a specific product. You know, does it have a warranty? Does it break? Does it this? Does it that? So if all of that is worked into the presentation, there's no fear triggers that come up. And then through that, I was almost 100% successful at tripling whatever the top producer was doing by my third day. So that's essentially what we've come in and done with law and freedom as a product. So we've organized it. I took all the work out of it. We have fill in the blank templates now. So as long as someone can write their name, write the date, and pick a name for
How did Marcel find a way back to this after the arrest? Do you think he would lose a lot from that? I think they let him out without, like, full charges because I think they got him back on his medication for a little bit, and he kind of normalized a bit, and they let him out because they, you know, it's a mental health thing with Marcel to some extent. But the thing is, he always chooses to then get off his meds and keep scamming people, so, you know, it's kind of a tough subject to kind of talk about. So I think he only lost like 5 months, something like that, really.
their society, they can found a society. It can take us a little
His, like, salesman tactics here, just wild. He's such a consummate salesperson.
as 20 or 30 minutes if they don't read through the paperwork. If they want to read through the paperwork with their friends that they're doing the founding with, then you're looking about 2 hours. Obviously, we recommend people to read the paperwork. I just mean if they pre-read it and they come and they're just signing. So if you're not aware, legal ID turns you into a corporation. So we all hear we have rights, but then when you're talking about driver's license or any of that, it's a privilege. So, okay, if there's privilege, then where are my rights? So to make it very
You have rights. I assume Canada has some sort of charter of rights, something along those lines. That sounds correct. Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms? Is that a thing? I don't know. I'm sure that Canada has somewhere where it says what your, nation's rights are for individuals and stuff. That's where you can find them.
very simple is as soon as you show legal ID, you're a legal person. It's a corporation with your name on it. And that corporation went bankrupt in 1933. That's Canada Inc. went bankrupt. So your name is written in all capital letters on all your ID. That's grammatically how you spell a bankrupt corporation. So your ID is not you, the man or woman. The ID is the corporation bearing your name. And what's unfortunate is it's the 1985 Canadian Ownership Control and Determination Act. You don't have to remember that. We have it in our Freedom Ticket clipboard. We give it out, no problem. But that's where it references.
He's so practiced in his affect. Like, I say this as someone who has to very intentionally perform affect because I don't know how to do it naturally. Excuse me. So I have to kind of take my time and intentionally perform affect, right? You can tell Marcel is doing the same thing if you're someone who also has to do that to some extent. You can tell he's very practiced at intentionally coming off the way that he wants to come off to you. He's always selling. The sales switch. You know all the terminology. You know the terms.
Persons owning equity in other persons. So
What's it supposed to convey? He's personable. He's kind of in his pitch and a little technical, but then he'll slow down for a second and maybe say something relatable. Remember, I'm just like you, I'm a person. Back into the sales pitch. Get it?
So what people don't realize is when you register property, whether it's your house, your car, your kids, anything you register,
You can't register your kids.
it's called hypothecate. You're actually pledging title of that asset to the national debt of the legal bankrupt corporation calling itself your government. So an equal will record title. And so how you claim rights and how you record title is private law, and how you do that is just 3 letters. 3 letters, 50 days. We ask questions, they don't answer, or they do answer, and we discuss. But with the government, what you think of as a government, they never answer because they're criminals. So we send letter 1, they don't answer. We wait 10 days. We send letter 2. We now answer the questions from letter 1. And if they dispute it, they can get back to us, but they don't. So 10 more days goes by. Then we send letter 3, claiming the right off the mutual understanding we established in letters 1 and 2, asking and answering questions. An equal cannot give orders to another equal. Everything has to be offers, and it all falls under contract law. So really how we're able to both claim rights and stand up to the system is just by understanding contract law and then making it that we're operating under unregistered, unincorporated instead of registered and corporate legal citizen. Now we're unregistered, unincorporated rights of you as a man or a woman operating under your God-given rights, whatever that means to you. So that's the difference. So that's how come when you're studying a lot of this stuff, you'll see a lot of people come out
So much confidently wrong. That's part of it too. He's delivering it with confidence. He's delivering it with almost like a sing-songy pattern. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. But the important thing is he's always talking, and you sort of get pulled into that trance where you're no longer really listening to the content because it's sort of word salad anyway. But the point is that you kind of get pulled into it. You want to feel like, yes, I'm connected to this person. They're so personable, you know, they every once in a while will talk to you like they really care about you or that they understand you. And then they'll go back into their jargon and, you know, they clearly understand what they're talking about. Don't you trust them? They clearly know what's going on.
in a really religious way. And
I find it obnoxious, but, you know, works on some people. Bravo Needs Bacon says, "Hi, Hannah. Oh boy, I hate this guy. Happy Wednesday." Happy Wednesday back at you.
they're like, I'm standing under God, not Satan. What they're saying is that they're standing up for the rights as a man or a woman instead of they're operating under privilege as an own citizen versus.
I feel you, Doughploy. This guy hates me. This guy doesn't like. This guy knows I exist, and he doesn't like me. I live a little rent-free in his head, but that's okay.
Certificates are literally slavery bonds. No one understands this for the most part.
Oh, birth certificates are slavery bonds. That's a fun one.
Those who do haven't made it simple enough for the public. And
Marcel is scary, just like Chief Motto. I want Marcel and Chief Motto to talk so badly. We got Marcel and Kat interacting.
And a lot of them haven't proven it enough with the legal system. Somehow
That means I'm a winner. If this is winning, my goodness, what are the losers doing?
there are some groups out there like Alliance of Indigenous Nations. They're doing a good job. But what makes us a little different is we're like water. We're built to flow between all communities, and it's just no harm standards. So no harm to life, liberty, property, or rights, no fraud in contract. So that's kind of the basics. I know it's a lot to take in, but basically.
Like this thing? What's this thing?
This next thing is about
Oh, I can't play this. That they sell on DVD and on streaming, so they'll get mad at me if I play
You
it.
just fill out some letters, you get your rights back. Gets you out of taxes, gets you out of debt. You get a special bank account with your society that is outside the country for tax purposes, so people don't pay tax anymore in that. And then one thing I wanted to address with you guys coming on board in that is, without getting into your specific situations, I just want everyone to understand, we've had people in the past on social assistance or with disability come work with us, and it doesn't mess up them getting their social assistance or their disability, because with working with us, you get your own society set up, and we charge nothing up front for that.
So for those who don't know what he's actually selling here, Marcel is effectively selling a sovereign citizen MLM program where the ostensive product that they're selling is these bank accounts, these freedom packages that allow you to open your own organization and an organization bank account in order to avoid taxes. Basically, he opens these non-profit sort of society accounts that are supposed to be for like non-profit groups or organizations, but he's having them applied to individuals, and then they just, you know, have all their individual income flow through that account. Now, that is what we like to colloquially refer to as fraud. That's fraud. So I wouldn't recommend you do that, but on top of the actual product, since it is sort of an MLM structure, he is also recruiting. He wants people to come in to sell this idea of selling society bank accounts to people. So he's at the top, and, you know, you recruit people and those people recruit people. You get it. You're familiar with pyramid schemes.
Once you're making $3,000 or more per month, then you'll give your little monthly gift of like $90 a month. But that'll be out of what you're already earning once you're making $3,000 or more per month, kind of thing. But you get that up front without any.
How has he not been arrested for this yet? I think he often tries to say kind of off the grid. Like, I don't know if law enforcement is looking for him, but I know that he has before lived in a house kind of in the woods where he tried to stay off grid. I don't know what his situation is now. I just think he tries to keep his address and stuff private. I don't know.
Any cost to you. So
I think he just gets away with it so far.
having that society set up.
He was arrested and wanted before. That was for a different thing, though. That's because he was threatening the life of a provincial governor.
Allows you to get the money sent to the
Nice, Carpcosian. Hope they were good words.
society. It's not your income because the society is a separate entity from you. It's kind of like if you work at IBM, right? Say you're president of IBM. The company isn't yours. You just work for the company. It's like the society. So the society isn't yours, but you're the signatory in charge of it, but you're just a volunteer. And it's up to you if you ever take any pay from it. So as far as like disability or social assistance, the money goes to the society. It can help pay for things if you need it, but you don't have to take any money from it directly, and it's still building up, and you're the one in control of it, and you can pass it down generationally. And then once you're making a lot of money, if you don't need that other stuff anymore, it's up to you if you still want to get it. But after I did my political time there for about 8 or 10.
You're surprised no one's reported him to authorities considering he broadcasts all of this online? It's pretty niche. I think it pretty much only gets to his followers, and by the time his followers turn on him, I don't think they want to go to the police because they've also perhaps been engaging in illegal activity with him, and they're not necessarily sure if I turn him into the cops, am I going to get in trouble for participating in this? Or even if they don't like him personally, maybe they haven't gotten caught yet and they can still use the bank account. And as far as they're concerned, it's working. So, I don't know.
10 months after I had my society earning income, and I took social assistance to help me get back on my feet because they had robbed me.
Let me put it this way. If he ever found a serious amount of success with this, I suspect he would get caught relatively quickly. However, he's never really kept more than 2 to 5 marks at one time. I think the maximum I've ever really seen on any of these calls is like 4 other people. So it seems like he really drains money from like a few people at a time before he moves on to the next marks. So I don't know if there's a ton of them.
And stolen all my stuff. I'm starting from scratch. So I just want you guys to know, though, that you can do this work and have the money go to your society without having it penalize any social assistance or disability payments or any of that, because
And
it's
that would
not
include
income.
the child benefit too, right? Like,
Yeah, so yeah, because basically like everything you're doing in the legal system is over here and your private law society is over here. So private law is outside the legal system. It doesn't report taxes, nothing. It's not obligated to. And all the money it gets is defined as a gift. And it's not going to you. It stays in the society.
Isn't it crazy, though, that then you use that money for your own expenses to pay bills and for groceries and utilities? It's almost like that money's yours and you're just hiding it in a bank account you're claiming isn't personal. You know, like a crime.
But the society, if I want, can pay my rent. The society can buy me
I mean, if you want to snitch on them, that's your business. I don't care.
groceries. The society can pay my electric
Would that be in my best interests? I don't know about that. He's pretty good content, but hey, more power to you.
bill. This is
That's a joke, genuinely. If anyone knows who to report Marcel to, feel free. I don't know if there's enough here for them to arrest him necessarily, but if there is, by all means. I really would like him to not be able to hurt any more marks. That would be nice.
like whatever.
Like an LCC, sort of, but more like a non-profit. An LCC is like a limited liability corporation, and those I think are generally for profit. You need a separate thing to be a non-profit.
I need that society to do to take care of me, I can do it, but it does it directly. It doesn't have to go to me directly. And there's nothing that says you have to tell anyone about that. And keep in mind, too, the legal system is a criminal fraud. So we can do private meetings. Obviously, we're recording here. That's why I don't want anyone really getting into their own specifics on anything. But off camera, I can do a meeting with
Green guy with a $10 tip. I literally cannot decipher what you were trying to type to me. I would read it, but I literally can't. If hello, want ton more and than me, it is Tjebger's fault.
with anyone and show you exactly how to set it up. And you're not breaking any rules. You cannot get in trouble for this. We're even recognized by Social Assistance Manitoba. If someone's
Oh, you're good, Harold Edelman.
on disability, they actually get an extra $50 or $100 a month if they work with us. So even though we're against their system, we're so correct to process that if people work for us in Manitoba, they get extra money if they're on social assistance disability, which is crazy. But but we qualify. It's a volunteer reward program. So yeah, so I'll do individual meetings with anyone.
Is he... Oh my god, in Manitoba, is there like a... What? If you're on like social services in Manitoba, do you get extra for doing community service? And he's like fraudulently having people tell the state that they're doing community service by working for him? Holy shit.
Anyone, no charge as you're coming on board. If you have questions, just book some time with myself and we can go through that with you guys. But I just want everyone to understand that if you have any of those kind of angles to what you're doing, this is a perfect way to be able to build security for your future in a way that you're in no way impacting the benefits of the legal privilege system. Even me, I do my taxes every year, but I have no taxable income. So I still get my carbon tax. I still get, you know, GST or whatever they're sending out, basically. I just put it into programs, but yeah, they steal enough from everyone. You know, if they're going to give us a little back, you know, if you
Oh, wow. He's doing like a lot of fraud, huh? Holy shit.
take what you can get. So, yeah. So that kind of deals with that. And then basically, as far as just the overview on the position, admin customer service. So the administrative position pretty much is just each day checking emails, what's come in, who do we need to reach out to? Like this weekend, I did invites for our outer circle mastermind meetings coming up and our inner circle mastermind meetings. So you're just basically the administrative flow to everything. I was trained by all of our administrative templates were designed by people that administrate for the Department of National Defense. And I dated a girl who was the office manager for Tell Us About Us. So all our administrative templates were designed by top tier administrators. So you're not coming into something that's disorganized. It's just a matter of spending time with you, just showing you what we have. And then like, say for Excel sheets, I suck at those. We have
Let's see if we can get to the Q&A or anything, because I know he's gonna go on and on.
getting great feedback. So I'm super excited. That's kind of my overview. I don't know if I went too deep into stuff. I just kind of want to give you guys an idea of what we're doing. Something else I'm going to ask you guys to do is biographies and credentials.
What's DeQuan up to? Nothing crazy. He's been pretty boring, honestly. That's why I haven't covered him. He hasn't said anything new. And he still hasn't gotten caught. I'm really starting to wonder if, you know how the TSA is like security theater? Kind of starting to think all law is like that, because every major criminal that I cover on this stream just seems to keep getting away with it. So, kind of starting to think that you get away with crimes unless you're, like, really blatant about it. And I'm talking more blatant than just talking about it on the internet. I think you gotta go up to a cop and be like, I am doing illegal things.
So all of you, if you
That's not true. That's not advice. That's a bit.
you can just do a little overview.
Don't break the law.
Write up on yourself of just professional experience, qualifications, just something that as we list things on the website, whether we put photos or not, if any of you want to use an alias, you're absolutely welcome to. On the independent contractor agreement you guys will be signing, if you want to keep your name private or anything, telemarketers do it all the time. We just have to know what name you'll be using if you want to use an alias. If you want to use your own name, I do, Will does. It's up to you. And everything we do is legitimate, and you're independent contractors, so you're not liable for us in any way. So let's say I ever decided to make a decision that was bad as an organization, I'm liable for it, not you guys. That's why we do that, because it just protects us organizationally from anyone. If they ever decided to do anything stupid, no one else gets in trouble for anybody else. And we did that with natural gas broker companies that were billion-dollar companies. And some of the natural gas brokers did some really crazy bad stuff back in the day. And the company never got in trouble for them.
I've seen dumb kids filming themselves ramming through a fence like the Kool-Aid Man. No, I've not.
Or programs and expansion. So you have copy and paste templates for all of that.
And for training and stuff, you can just go on YouTube and
let's see, how many people does he have here now? 1, 2, 3, 4. He has 4 marks right now. Wow, that's impressive for him.
every task for what you need to do. They have like the Open Phone has full training videos.
Sign up, and if somebody doesn't have enough money initially, we can do payments or
oh boy,
page that'll be coming up. That'll be on a separate domain. It might be this one, and then the click through to get to this. But if you guys ever want to know what our pricing is and stuff, if you go to plans and pricing, what?
Can't even navigate his own website.
There should be plans and pricing there. I don't. Okay, here. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Okay, sure. sign up. And if somebody doesn't have enough money initially, we can do payments or gifts. Everything is defined as a gift. If I ever say payment,
You can't just do that. You can't just call your prices gifts and have them be tax exempt. That's not how any of this works. If that's how that worked, every business would do it. You can't do that. You can't just call transactions gifts.
we mean gift. But let's say the $1,000 they don't have it, but they can afford $100 a month. So we would do the $190 a month for 10 months and then $90 a month after that. So we are willing to make arrangements.
I think this is what fucks him over more than anything, is that he can't be happy trying to scam a bunch of people for like $10 or $20 a month. He thinks he needs to scam people for at minimum $90 a month. And I think he's really hoping he's getting people at $250 a month. He's overestimating the income of his marks, I think.
With people if they're a little bit tight or whatever. And then they can get their society founded within literally a few hours. And within a few days, they can potentially get their bank account set up if they're motivated and organized in that. We had one lady she was in her 70s and she got it all up in like 3 days, from getting the paperwork to the founding to getting the bank accounts open, everything. So sometimes the bank.
Oh my god, you can pay him $250,000 for your own global empire, full self-governance. How delusional is Marcel that he thinks someone with $250,000 is just going to come on by and be like, this seems legit?
Bank account can take a little finagling depending on the agent you get. Some of them are not always the most knowledgeable, but if they're difficult, you just go to a different one. Yeah, so basic, VIP, mastermind, and then our different services, flat rate plans, no royalties ever. Because with these, there's the 10%. Somebody might want to just pay it all up front or gift it all up front, and then they don't owe us royalties. But obviously that costs more. This cost us millions. So just so you guys know.
This cost you millions? Where did you get millions of dollars, Marcel? You're claiming that this Web 1.0 ass website cost you millions of dollars for that and your bullshit paperwork? I don't believe you, Marcel, and I know you're watching this video, so don't tell me you're not. Liar!
No, for a lawyer to open up an NGO is about 80 grand. And this is way better than that. So the fact that we're offering it for like $1,000, plus 90 a month is almost free.
$90 a month is almost free. Did you know that, chat? Did you know that $90 a month is basically free? What an entitled asshole to think he gets to ask people for almost $100 a month in perpetuity for his fucking scam.
It's not free, but we made it accessible and affordable. And then this is if they don't want to do the founding themselves. So this is if we do it for them. So they do it all themselves. It's cheaper if they do it themselves. Then it's just the basic rate. But if they need us to do whole parts of the process for them, then that's when there are some additional gifts. But you guys will go through that in training and that, so you don't have to worry about that too much for now. And then here we have like past clients and stuff. So these are just different videos, shows we've done.
Rainy with 40 bits says, it occurs to me if your income is such that you can afford $250 a month, you're probably intelligent enough to not spend $250 a month. Intelligence and income are not necessarily correlated. Exhibit A through Z, Elon Musk.
And commercials, people doing Competent Air Challenge where they just log in and sign up. And we have a lot of support materials. Randy Shannon, she ran for U.S. Senate, and she was a senator in the de jure Republic of the U.S.
Oh, so like she lost and was part of a fake thing. Cool.
She worked with Ron Paul. He's a Texas senator for 30 years who retired and launched the de jure Republic to compete with the Corporation of America.
He launched a competing Congress? Like a stupider anti-pope.
So we have shows with her. She's done stuff with us. Jackie Fig, she's a globally renowned rights expert. We've done stuff with her. She died, unfortunately. They killed her in a plane crash.
Fucking what? That interview, I remember when they did that interview, and she died in a plane crash. Wow, that's a lot. Wow. The drama just never ends.
Or at least I believe they killed her in a plane crash, but she unfortunately passed away from that. We've done a University of Winnipeg Student Association has supported us. We joined the Chamber of Commerce at a certain point, told them to shove it about a week later because they're part of the problem, but they accepted us before we rejected them. This is one of our past mentorees. This is Brian, age 9.
Speaking of the Pope, the conclave started today. Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe tonight watching the movie Conclave because I haven't seen it yet, and I heard it's good. Isn't Ralph Fiennes in that? I like Ralph Fiennes. Then my favorite Hannibal Lecter film.
You know what? I'll play this one commercial here real quick just because we got everyone in here as families. So this is basically what we're doing, guys.
Hi, I'm Brian, and I'm 9 years old. I have the coolest thing to tell you.
This kid's gotta be like 17 now. This video's so old.
Young people are about to run the world the right way. Old people have been hurting the planet for too long. I love freedom and rights for all, and that's why kids are taking over.
That's a Lecter film? Yeah, it's the prequel to Silence of the Lambs. My favorite one because it has Will Graham in it. I love the character of Will Graham.
Future. So
he's a detective that thinks like a serial killer, and it kind of drives him crazy too, and he struggles with his own messed up mind, but he can get into the head of the killer. I love Will Graham.
Let's fix the world. It's time for change. Here's what we must do together. We need to learn to become competent heirs by learning our rights.
Have I seen Hannibal the show? I've seen the first season, and I love it. I haven't finished it, though. I still gotta watch the rest of it.
This is how anyone can help run the world. We need to get corporations pretending to be government out of the way with natural law. Unregistered, unincorporated rights are not taught in schools, most of which are corporations. This is why I'm teaching you now. We have a big job to do. Time to save the planet and heal the world. Please visit and join Peacemaker Society now. www.peacemakersociety.org. You may not know it.
You're curious who the fuck this kid is, by the way? This is just a kid from Fiverr. Marcel used to hire people on Fiverr to do ads for him. If you don't know what Fiverr is, it's basically a site where you can offer your services as, like, especially before AI, you know, video work, basic editing, graphic design, doing little skits like this where you need a character, voice acting, music, basically creative things usually that you would charge some small amount as a contractor. The place to find contractors. Don't use it, it's an Israeli company. Good to know. They allow kids on Fiverr. I assume this kid's parents probably ran his account for him. Feel bad for this kid. I doubt this kid chose to do this.
But birth certificate.
But again, this was like 7 years ago, so that kid's probably in his teens now. Hopefully isn't made to do this by his parents.
Certificates turn kids into corporations. They steal my birthrights and let people buy and sell me as a corporation. This was proven in the 1985 Canadian Ownership Control and Determination Act. That's not okay. The solution is to join Peacemaker Society now.
And maybe a little bit ran the fool on the projecting thing. Sometimes it feels like that when I'm watching conspiracy theorists, like I can start to think how they do and it's shitty. And also, I've had delusions before. I've told you guys that I've struggled with like delusional shit in my past, and I don't know. I kind of understand the mindset. I don't like the mindset, but I get it, and it's fascinating.
www.peacemakersociety.org. We're here to recruit you. See you soon.
So
Does this kid know what he's talking about? No, he just gets a script.
Explain that people don't actually join us. We only provide the results for them to found their own society to be our equal. Because we're not trying to take everything over. We want people to just found their own society with their own stuff. And that's where the middle ground for that is those who don't want to do it. We're going to have our community help programs and they can voluntarily participate in those. So those can provide and protect. But our goal is to have everyone found their own society because no one else should be in charge of your body or your rights. And everyone should have a trust or a society protecting their own personal body and rights and assets and all of that. So that's why we encourage everyone to have their own. That's why anyone who works with us will make sure that's set up for you without you having to pay anything up front for it until you're actually making
I like
money.
He's talking very seriously over the video he hired of the two large-breasted twins from Fiverr.
That you don't have to do. kids' perspective and families. This is more the business side. And then we have like Andrew
The big tit twin video is more business oriented. I guess I hadn't considered that.
Clay commercials. We have ones with like cavemen showing people how to use a lighter, and then they break the lighter on the rock because they're not understanding the process and stuff. So the reason I went down here though is this is our Rumble channel. So at the bottom of privatelawtrust.org, you can check out our Rumble videos. I'll just click on that quick and show you guys. So we have done a lot of work with different groups. So a lot of First Nations groups. I'll go back to the beginning here.
I'm just gonna message her on my phone.
So you don't necessarily need the phone, you need the computer. It'd be about 100 email leads an hour. So somewhere between 700 and 1,000 a day.
1,000 leads a day? Wait, what? He's talking about for the whole organization, right? He's not expecting one person to follow 1,000 leads a day via email, right?
Whenever the first day is, just for basic training, depending if you're doing customer service or admin, and we'll put you guys through different training on both of those, record it. And it's not too complicated though. And then probably take you guys 2 to 5 days to be where, okay, you know, I got the feel of this. I'm feeling good about it. And then as you're going through the getting familiar with the process, the funnel page would be up. We'll just be starting to get stuff out. And the last flyer thing I did about a week ago, I think we got about 10 calls from that. So it's not going to be like a crazy amount just from the flyers. But then next we'll hit with the door-to-door. Door-to-door, take about 2 weeks to get 20 guys up in Winnipeg, guys or gals. Takes 20 people 1 month to do every
Anyone in the Winnipeg area, keep an eye out for people at your door from Marcel's thing. Apparently they're going to door-to-door to recruit people.
door in Winnipeg. And with 20, we should be about 100 email leads an hour. So somewhere between 700 and 1,000 a day. So, you know, on those days they come in and then we just have to manually enter them in. Or there is in Canva, you can take a photograph of a sheet and it turns it all into text automatically. And then you could just copy the emails and then just paste them into the email line so you don't have to manually enter it all. There's a bunch of cheats basically with technology now that makes the data entry super quick, super easy. And yeah, once we're hitting like 1,000 emails a day, even 100 a day, we should close 5-10 sales out of 100. 40% once.
He thinks he's going to close 5 sales out of 100 with this pricing. That's crazy to me. He thinks 5% of people are going to give him $90 a month. That's insane. That's insane.
Once we get everything set up, everyone's trained properly, we should be 4 to 10 people are a sale. Well, it's just if it's the first time we talk to them or the 4th or 5th time we talk to them, just matter how much follow-up. But everything we've ever sold, 40% is our closing rate once we have all the scripts and everything. And all our scripts work, we've done that all. So now it's just a matter of getting you guys all trained in your positions and then just making sure we have marketing teams out there every day and then also on social media. And that's something else where for customer service and admin, if there is downtime and they're just sitting there, we can potentially maybe have them do some social media posting as well.
Doesn't think it, but he wants to convince the marks. What I don't get, isn't that going to be a huge hit to morale when they start making these calls and like, you know, calling people back for the pamphlets and stuff, and it doesn't happen? Like, aren't they going to be like, why isn't this working?
Just to help.
Wonder how he came up with those prices? That's a good question. I'm curious too.
Get the word out more because it's
probably pulled him out of his butt, but realistically, he maybe just vibed it out how much he thinks the services are worth.
That you can just do while you're sitting there anyway, kind of thing, and that generates a lot.
Getting Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross vibes. Coffees for closers.
It's in that as
Get
well.
the fuck out of here.
But we'll go through all that in actual training. As far as just like coming on board,
another film in the Criterion Collection.
Job, independent contractor agreement, the work itself. Does anyone have any questions or things that are on your mind right now that you're wondering about? Obviously, the specifics on how to do the job, we'll get into that in orientation, exactly what to say and all that. But
I think you
from my side, I think we pretty much
everything
covered
good.
most of what we need to, aside from your guys' questions. And if you don't have questions, then I'm going to assume I did a good job. And I talk a lot, so if my only job is to talk, I will always get through all of it for you guys. But
Between you and William, I don't know that we'll ever have to say anything.
and this is our goal for the people we're onboarding. That's what we want to do. We want to give them so much information, not that we drown them in it, but just that there's no question or fear marks. They're just like, okay, cool. And then it's just, okay, now they're just getting excited about what we do is we meet them where they're at. So if they've never heard of it, or maybe they're a year into study, or maybe they're a mom or a dad or a business owner, or maybe there's someone that works for the system right now. So we tailor the perspective to freedom to where they're at, and we meet them in their life with our information at the point they're at, and then that way.
You know what's funny? You'd think at some point people would notice on his channel that every time he has one of these meetings, it's different people. Because, like, I've watched a decent number of his monthly
And then
meetings with his team, and no one stays on the team for more than 2 or 3 months, tops. He's constantly, the turnover on his team is insane. It's never the same team. It's like the fucking X-Men in there. Never a consistent lineup. And you'd think people who are prospective marks would go and look through his videos and see he's just churning through people. I wonder why. You know, you'd think there'd be a little bit of curiosity there. I don't know. Alright. Check this guy out. Sideways, unfortunately.
Should be a tag back there.
Hang on.
I just got in the car. The tag was on.
Ain't no tag on there now. Are you kidding me? You got your license, registration, proof of insurance?
I can't answer questions. I can't answer any of
What's
your
that?
questions. I can't answer any of your questions.
All right, what's your name?
Oh, look how many people he's worked with. I see.
I can't answer the questions.
Well, here's what's going to happen. You can give me your name, date of birth. I can go run through the system, and I can write you a couple tickets, or you can refuse to identify yourself, and you will be taken to jail.
Better listen to that guy. I've seen him on the Dukes of Hazzard. He's scary.
Voice is yours.
What charge would I be charged with?
Right now, failure to identify willful interference with the issuance of a writ operating a vehicle that's not registered. So are you going to provide me your name and date of birth?
Well, the name belongs to the state, but they call me David.
All right, what's your last name?
My family name? Oh, the last name also belongs to the state.
What's that?
Martin.
Daniel Martin, what's your date of birth?
No, I didn't say Daniel.
What'd you say?
It was David.
David Martin?
They call me David.
All right, what's your date of birth?
I remember you. What'd you say? The date of birth. October the 25th, 1975.
I'll go get some paper and write some stuff down.
So why did he just immediately go back? Did I just
Because he's looking it up on his computer.
grant him something?
Did I grant him something? He's looking up your name.
What was that date of birth again, Mr. Martin?
The person's date of birth is October 25th.
10/24, what year?
25th.
25th? What year was that?
1975.
1975, all right.
Am I okay. So I can do that when we're done.
Guessing that's a no on the insurance?
You got any insurance on this vehicle?
I can't answer your questions.
Okay, that's enough.
Oh, I can't listen to the radio. It's my arm. I guess turkeys will do.
Now.
Alright, he just got ticketed. That one wasn't too bad. Okay, this one should be good. This is a tenant who is in a rent-to-own situation, but apparently he hasn't paid rent in years. So he owes something like $60,000 in back rent. which is a lot of money to owe in back rent, if I'm being honest.
Some weeks at a time.
He can tell me what he wants to say. Overrule. Continue.
Okay. And March 25th, 2023 was the last
Guy
time
in the top right is the sob sit.
rent was paid. So we began accruing rent at April 25th, 2023.
Okay, well, your complaint doesn't ask for all of that. It says that it is from December 25th, 2024 through March 2025. So explain that to me.
I did not file it myself. My assistant has been in the hospital 4 times, and
Sorry, real quick, we're halfway through the stream. If you like the stream, consider following if you're on Twitch, subscribing if you're on YouTube, and if you want to help support the stream, consider subscribing on Twitch, gifting subs or bits, or becoming a member on YouTube.
some weeks at a time, so I'm not sure what was filed.
Well, that's a concern because you're pursuing this. I got that this was filed back on, this was filed April 8th or April 18th. So this is well after that. Well, for an opportunity for you guys to make any additional determinations. I just want to make sure we have some clear numbers because the numbers that you're asking for in the complaint that was past due in April, $10,000, that was for rent through March since December or since November at all, or at least in some.
That's correct, Your Honor. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. All right. Well, just hold tight. Let me speak to Mr. Stevenson. So, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Stevenson,
What's going on?
when did the initial lease get signed? You recall?
Yes, sir. It was signed probably in 2019 or 2020.
Okay. When's the last time you signed a lease?
The last lease I signed was probably in 2022.
Why do you always say you can fix people? Find a partner, not a project. What are you doing?
I would like to say that I'm perfectly fine with answering all your questions, Judge. Nothing. I've filed a lot of evidence in this case showing that they have not done their due diligence whatsoever in this proceeding, which you've already recognized to a degree with their misnumbering of their own numbers. But I don't. I'm challenging the jurisdiction of the court. I don't believe this belongs in this court. I reserve all my rights, and I do not consent to administrative process and without equity, according to Article 3 oversight. And so, with due process under
the judge shaking his head like, yeah, I get it, sob sit bullshit. Yeah.
Law, because I have a lot of evidence showing that I did my due process and did not receive that from them. Basically, that $7,000. He's saying that they just submitted a ledger to you guys, saying that $65,000 is owed. And saying
I haven't seen that ledger.
But
so
he just said it in mediation. I'm not assuming.
So just hold tight.
Yes, sir. I'm just saying I got a lot of stuff, and it's a real case.
And then we, if need be, I can get into all of that because right now,
yes, sir.
One, what you discussed in mediation, I'm not aware of, right?
Yes, sir.
So I all of that. That's why I like to ask my questions. And
yes, sir. I just wanted to make sure I got on record that I do challenge that we should even be in this court.
And I would say, if that's the case, did you file a?
I will.
But you haven't. So you have not sought to have the case removed to federal court, have you?
Not the federal yet. I was trying to get it removed just to Superior.
Okay. And under what basis?
Under the basis of equity. This is a rent-to-own case. This is not a normal tenant-landlord situation.
I would pause you because I'm very familiar with that. And if it's a rent-to-own situation, those generally are still considered contracts. You may have a lease, otherwise. And so, just before we get into that,
okay,
because I've been doing this a little while. So,
I'm with you.
All right. So tell me, is rent $1,750?
Your Honor, I'm not aware of what the rent is currently.
Well,
you of course you don't. You haven't paid it in years. Fair. What is the rent currently? Oh, I have no idea. I haven't paid that bitch, and I don't even know how long.
You told me that you signed a contract back in 2020.
The contract that I signed, the rent was not. If you review,
how much is it? How much is
the rent that I signed at the time? The contract was $1,450.
Okay, $1,450.
It was $1,450.
Just getting information.
Yes, sir. Okay. I'm with you.
Did you submit your last contract online? Did you submit it as part of your evidence?
The contract, no, neither one of us submitted the last contract signed. I can't produce it, but I did not submit the last.
So hold on. Let me do my job.
I think this is the perfect judge to handle this guy. This is an interesting dynamic.
Okay.
My bad.
So you're saying the last rent is $14.50. Was there a late fee associated with that $14.50?
I believe so.
Okay, and let's just say for giggles, because we only gonna give him 10%. There was $145. Right. So tell me this: when is the last time you paid rent, or anybody on your behalf?
I believe the last time that I paid rent would have been in the year of 2023, December of 2023 or so.
Okay.
Okay, well, you're admitting it. You're admitting to everything. Why you doing that so cheerfully? I'm a little confused what the strategy is here, if I'm being honest.
And so, just to kind of get some clarity, December of 2023, that means all of 2024, and now we're moving into 4 full months of 25. And then if I were to give a writ, right, you would have 7 days. I understand you saying you ain't got no jurisdiction, all that stuff. I just want to understand what I'm working with. So it essentially would have been 16 months plus 13 days. Now, that's not what they're asking for.
Correct.
But you're saying you haven't paid rent at least for about 16 months.
Correct.
Okay. And is there any basis of why you've not paid rent for 16 months?
Yes, sir. They have some funny accounting. And so I submitted in accordance with UCC and all other statutes and legal statutes. I submitted a request for accounting, a full request for.
I'm wondering if I'm assuming with the tricky accounting thing, I assume he got onto a similar conspiracy theory as Cataspinda, where suddenly his entire concept of money or something got fucked up in a conspiracy way, so he stopped thinking he owed it. I don't know.
Accounting, which I have a right to do. I submitted it under certified mail to the registered agent's address per the law. The registered agent received the first letter. I have all received, everything's in front of you in the submitted stuff. I submitted the document requesting.
Do you put your rent into escrow in the meantime? Yeah, that's how it works in Michigan. I'm not sure if it probably varies state by state, but I know in Michigan, if you have some sort of like issue with your landlord or property management or whoever, you cannot pay your rent, but you need to be putting it into an escrow account so that it's not just to avoid rent, it's an actual like issue that you're litigating. That way the court can see that the money is still there, so if it turns out that the landlord or whoever wasn't wrong, then they can get that money.
A formal request asking and saying that I would pay whatever was needed as long as they produced actual documents, especially because they're filed under a trust. So they're supposed to complete certain things as a part of their business model of how he's even running his business. And so I asked for that to be produced, and I would pay. The first one came to them, they received it, then they closed it back up, taped it up, and they rejected it. I sent 2 more. One of them I sent notarized, which is the big envelope you have. I sent a notarized copy. You also have a copy of what I asked and requested from them under the law. They ignored them 3 times. Then didn't ask for any rent for a year, Your Honor. And then when they did send me a notice to pay or quit, it was for $6,500, and now the $7,000, which is what you're looking at.
Okay, so let me pause.
Wait, is it only 6,500? Because someone else earlier said 65,000.
Because there's a couple things going on, and I don't know. You may not like
the 65 plus 7,000 would like 6,500 plus 7,000 would make more sense math-wise. The judge might have just misspoke at the beginning.
What I'm thinking, but I'm
something closer to $11,000 or $12,000 with a $1,400 a month whatever over a 16-month period sounds closer than 65,000. Still not good, mind you. I wouldn't want to owe that much money, but
got 16 months past.
No, I wasn't at the time, Your Honor. I wasn't at the time.
I got it, but now 16 months past.
Yes, now.
They're asking for 7. When did they demand 65?
Today.
Okay, so did you get any notices about this hearing, or I mean about this action before?
No, he said all this
it was filed
mediation.
against
He submitted new documentation today in mediation. He said he submitted it today.
71.8 BC in YouTube chat says it's 65,000 because the landlord is very disorganized and sent out a letter for a much smaller amount, but has now done the math. I've seen this. The landlord is super disorganized. Ah.
that y'all received it in court for $65,000. I have no knowledge of that.
Okay, well, hold
Okay,
on.
so he said
This is an
65,000
important thing.
again.
It's important. I saw your defenses that you
I
read.
think the guy in the bottom is the landlord. I don't know if he's just representing, because he said he had an assistant, but the assistant's sick or something.
Can you tell me when or send Mr. Stevenson a demand of possession?
When was it sent to him?
Personally, if I had $65,000 on the line, I'd probably hire a lawyer, but
There
whatever.
was a pay or quit notice, and I do not know at that when that was sent to him, but I might be able to find it in the file.
That's going to be huge.
Okay. I believe the pay or quit was very recent. I believe it was last month.
Last month when?
Let me see. I have this pay or quit. Oh, here's one from July of 2022. Here's
That's
one
right.
from July from 2021.
Let me see something from 25.
All right.
I have it. Yeah, it's 3/15/2025.
3/15/2025.
Yes.
Okay. And what did it say?
It said undisconnected rental rate $17.50. Rent from January to March $5,250. Additional daily rent $10 per day at 92 days. $920. Recovery $75. Existing unpaid balance. $321. Total due 3/20/25 6566.00.
Okay, so how much is that? Tell me how much they're saying is due.
$6,566, Your Honor.
Okay, and then when you got that, what did you do?
I filed with them a failure to contract, a no contract notice, and I refiled with them the notice I filed for them to give me proper accounting with the certified notary from the year before that I tried to file to them that they rejected because he's using a PO box as a registered.
Are you alleging that you paid too much money to them?
I'm alleging that I have equity in this home and that the stated amount that they are saying, the stated.
I get all right, equity in this home. Neither one of you have submitted a contract. So tell me what.
I didn't file a complaint.
Well, but you're having a defense that you have equity and rights in this property, right? So it's
they
your
left me alone.
responsibility. So listen, it's your responsibility to
Was
put
there
up
not a signed contract?
all the necessary defense.
Or does the landlord just not have it? That's bad. Like, this should be an easy case for him. The fucking tenant's been there for like for 16 months. Almost a year and a half without paying rent. Wow.
Right. And so what I'm saying
is actually hilarious. Like, if the guy gets away with this to some extent because of the paperwork issue.
You're saying you have a
keep your files, people. It's important.
Special kind of lease. So tell me what parts of your lease, since I don't have the lease here with me, justifies it. Well, hold on. I guess Mr. Brown was going to answer that. Do Mr. Brown
I thought you was okay.
Okay. Do you?
I'm quiet. I said nothing.
All right, the judge and the other guy, they should get a sitcom together. They need to move into an apartment together immediately. Maybe the stolen apartment or home that this guy's living in, and this guy can like come over and be a comic foil and be like, "What are you guys up to?" I'd watch that show.
Man, I'm good. I thought you was talking to me, so I thought I was.
I'm sorry.
And then the sitcom will be titled Adverse Possession.
But you would just go. I just want to know what part of the contract. How do you have it? You have a lease to own? Is that what you have?
It is a rent to own. It is a rent to own where you're only supposed to be in it 3 years, and then you either basically leave or you're in a ownership position. I have to do my own maintenance. There's no. That's not me. That's coming out from my side.
Oh.
There's no. They don't come do a bunch of maintenance. I have to fix my own back porch. I got to do. You know what I'm saying? So. What I was asking for a year ago when they came to me saying, "Hey, you owe some money," I felt like the accounting was off. And so I asked to see the accountant. They refused to show the accountant. That's it.
All right. Mr. Brown.
Yes, sir.
A lease to own agreement?
I'm just looking back. It would have been long expired if there was one. I'm just looking back right now because
you need the paperwork. How did you not prepare this before your court date?
We do have a rent-to-own opportunity, and we do help deserving families end up with home ownership regardless.
Okay, you need the contract. We don't need your sales pitch. We don't need your fucking white paper. What are you doing?
Credit or financial background. So we work that into our program, and we give people up to 3 years to buy. And so when he signed in 2019, that would have been expired by now. And I'm just looking back to see if he even did that.
I'm not going to further delay this. This is what I'm going to do. I'll be honest with you, Mr. Stevenson. The initial facts, and because of the history I have with these cases, I would argue that they would be entitled to a writ. Particularly the amount that they're seeking is a lot less than what you would normally be paid because of. But guess what? I don't have. I don't have a contract. And you make an argument that you may very well be entitled, but I don't have it. And depending upon the language of that contract, will really make a determination of how I proceed. And so I'm going to reset it for in person. I don't necessarily believe that there's a basis for it to be in Superior Court. Those issues, based on the contract, may reveal that that's not necessary, particularly if you're not alleging that you've paid all this time or have submitted to them a opportunity to purchase and they didn't accept it. That's a different. But just saying that you have a lease to own, but then you've defaulted on it and you're very well entitled somehow to some type of equity. You might be entitled in a separate action and maybe some of the improvements that you've made, but that may not prevent them from being able to get you evicted. And that's a fact. That's
Your
a
Honor,
fact.
can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, so the fact that I still have a UCC's claim, 100%, they did not respond to my request for. I have a right to accounting. They blocked it. What about the
But
fact
that may
they
not
also-
prevent me from dealing with possession. See, I think you misunderstand.
Oh no, I'm not saying. I get that. That's what this is dispossessory court. I get that's why I asked to have it removed to a higher court. What I'm
But
saying
you
is,
need to file that stuff.
well,
Superior Court
I
is
will
not federal
file
court.
it because I don't want to be put through this administrative process, which this basically is, and it's just kind of a quick kind of will and deal thing. And he's got legitimate. I have legitimate things that I'm saying. I asked for accounting for debt, and then now for them to submit a debt of $65,000. So what you're telling me is we're going to come to meet you, and we're just going to discuss the $6,500 and not the $63,000 that they're trying to put on the ledger now.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. If you ain't paid rent in a year and a half, that wouldn't necessarily sound like that's not reasonable.
But under the law, though, I have a right to nullify that debt, and they didn't request that debt. They went a year without requesting the debt, Your Honor.
Listen to me.
All right,
I'm going to reset the case. You're not even going to have to worry about an appeal because
it's so interesting that the judge and the defendant, or the defendant, in this case, have very similar styles of working with people. They both clearly default to trying to be friendly in almost the exact same way. And it's very strange and uncanny.
I'm not going to do an order today. I'm going to reset the case, and someone's going to submit to me a copy of the contract, and then we can take a look.
Your Honor,
They both kind of have that kill them with kindness, you know what I mean?
Submit the contract. If you'll look at the email that we did send both the contract and the extension.
Clark, can I? It's not in my file, or maybe it's in documents and not in exhibits. Hold tight.
I'm looking. Sorry.
Thank you. It would have been from Judy Weaver, my assistant.
And Mr. Stevenson, just so you're aware, if you're alleging federal matters, that isn't necessarily a Superior Court issue. That's a federal court issue. So having it removed or transferred to Superior Court still wouldn't be the appropriate place.
It may be a federal thing. I'm just saying that I asked for the accounting of all of this so that I could pay and do my due diligence. They failed to do that, and then didn't request any money for a year, and then they just showed up.
And Mr. Stevenson, while we're waiting to see whether or not that's the case, what due diligence were you trying to exercise in a rental agreement? Was it a situation where they weren't?
It was a situation where I did not agree with what they were saying was owed by me at the time. They were saying I owed more money than I agree with. So I filed a form saying, show me the full, because we've been in business, like he brought up, during COVID. And just for the record, I just lost my mother on Easter, right? So I'm
sorry about that, brother.
I'm just saying, because he was mentioning, he mentioned that the clerk who filed all this stuff improperly has been in and out of the hospital. I've been through with breast cancer for the last 3 years. What I'm saying is my due diligence was still done properly, and theirs was not. And I feel like the court has to honor the fact that you have to do business the proper way. And so that's my stance, is that I asked for them to do business properly. They did not do it properly. They did not say anything. They left me alone for a year. No mail, no correspondence, no nothing. And then show back up and requested $6,500.
I do find that to be strange. They just straight up stopped corresponding at all for a year. That's wild to me. I would not want to work for whatever fucking business this is. I don't think that they're running very well, most likely.
So the original one, this is 2019.
Although if you're looking for a place to rent where you might get away with not paying for a while, maybe look into, what is this? Certified affordable housing. Apparently they're not on the ball. Maybe look into that.
It's a standard real estate rental agreement.
Mhm.
I'm gonna share this thing with you.
No, I know it's a lot in there. It's so much to the bottom where they get into the rent to own stuff. You come to classes.
Hold up. I got you. Hold tight.
Would squatters' rights kick in at that point? Usually with stuff like that, the laws are a little stricter these days, so people don't just like take property. Like in Michigan, for instance, adverse possession is only a thing if you stay on the property for like 10 or 15 years or something and pay property taxes for that time without anyone noticing and kicking you out. It's virtually impossible to successfully do adverse possession in Michigan. Other states vary, but Michigan, it's very difficult.
All right. So at this time, can you see what I see?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm gonna scroll on down. You tell me what section is the rent to own.
Okay.
And either one of you guys go ahead and jump in and tell me.
No part of that agreement refers to rent to own.
This isn't the full.
Okay.
This isn't the, yeah. This doesn't have anything mentioned about the other part of the program that they have, which is the path to home ownership. That's also in the agreements.
All right. So there's a path home ownership.
Path to home ownership is what it's called. It's not listed. They're not showing that in that document they submitted.
All right. Let's see another one. And then I knew. Here goes the one for 2022.
Yes, sir.
Hold tight. All right. And this one says extension of standard real estate rental agreement. That's what it says. It says 1750 in 2022. Looks like these are your signatures here electronically.
Yes, sir. But this is not the full. This is not their full program, and he can tell you that.
All right. Well, Mr. Brown, tell me all.
He told you that the program lasted for 3 years. He's saying he told you the program is a 3-year program. That's it. That's the truth. You can look it up online and look their system up.
Listen.
Right, but you weren't paying, and they now have the document that you signed, at least for the rental agreement, which you didn't complete because you stopped paying almost immediately, seemingly.
Stevenson, stop. I'm not against you, but I'm going to find it out.
I don't think you are. I'm just telling you.
So, Mr. Brown, tell me, he's saying that there's another part of this agreement that's not there, that's different from this. So, is that the case?
When we do enter into an option to purchase, it is a 3-year term, and that would have begun in 2019. That would have expired in 2022. It was not extended.
Well, I don't know that because you have a 2022 extension of standard real estate agreement. Now, I don't know if that extends that other offer or not, or the other thing or not.
It does not. We have 2 different agreements. It's the rental agreement that lasts for a year, and then we have the option agreement that lasts for up to 3 years. Whenever someone pays on time and does what they're supposed to do, their option remains in place for that 3-year term. But it is only a 3-year term. It does expire. And he did not ask for an extension of the option. He did not do anything to purchase the property, as far as I'm aware. And so therefore, we did not extend the option to purchase. However, when someone remains in our property and they do not extend their option, we don't kick them out. We just give them the opportunity to continue to lease the property. And that's what this is.
Okay. All right, Mr. Stevenson, you say there is an addendum. He's not denying that there's an addendum.
Correct.
And so none of your, just let me be clear. According to the contract, it doesn't appear that any of your payments go towards any type of equity or down payment or anything of that nature, right? Or are you saying that
So was he just hoping, basically, that if he could ride out 3 years without paying, the house would be his?
Portion of your
because after 3 years, they give the option of buying the house?
The addendum.
That's a poor understanding of the contract, if so.
See, that's the thing. Yes, the addendum does say that. So I would have that question on accounting for the 3 years. My question on the accounting is simple. It was on the amount owed, and it was also on. So after 3 years, you're telling me I have the money that I've paid into this based off of the agreements I get. I cannot have any of this back.
What amount of money? What amount of money are you saying that this?
However much money may be accrued. What I was saying was, however much money may be accrued.
Accrued. Also, no, because that money is just rent money until the 3 years is up, and at that point I assume they give you the option of converting that into payments towards ownership of the house or a down payment, but they're not doing that because you didn't pay the full 3 years. You stopped paying
During the 3-year process. I was interested in that and finding out more about that and finding out about the actual counting of how much money they were saying I owed for a couple of payments. I had not missed. After 2022, 2023, I was paying my rent normally. It wasn't until 2024, basically, that all of this went down. And I asked them to give me proper accounting, and they refused to give me proper accounting. And they used
So you just stopped paying. I just want to understand your thought process.
Okay, no.
Because,
So based off
because
of,
I'm looking.
Okay, I was going to answer you, sir. Okay, you want me to answer? You want me? I can answer.
Yes, no, please.
Okay. Based off of my understanding of my legal rights, I understood that if they do not produce, and from what I saw in the UCC, if they do not produce the accounting properly for the debt does not, they are basically forfeiting the debt. And so I was like, oh, then we good. Y'all don't want to take or receive my stuff.
But you don't have, I think that's the part that you're missing. And I just want to be clear. You don't, the debt that you may be, this isn't a mortgage. This isn't, I understand you're saying you had an option to buy, and I guess I'm missing that. But ultimately, your option to buy might get eliminated because you have a rental agreement that is.
Yeah, I think the problem is he doesn't understand that the rental payments don't convert into equity in the home until he's offered the 3 years and takes it, and presumably would take out a mortgage. And I'm assuming that the rental payments would count towards some sort of down payment or something. I'm not exactly sure how rent to own situations normally go. But like, he seems to have been operating under the assumption that he was already basically making a mortgage payment, even though that's not really what was going on. Ultra Undying says he's long, but the landlord, or the gender neutral term land bastard, sucks. Long.
Essentially, when you default on that agreement, that
wrong,
almost extinguishes
be wrong. Makes
some of your rights. And so I'm really not trying to be difficult
on my rent.
You, but you did default, and
but
you defaulted
no,
based on
your
your
honor,
own
they have produced no accounting, and this is why we definitely need to come in person. They
But
have
you've
produced
admitted to me under oath that you have not paid rent for 16 months. Did you?
I have admitted that I have, but that's not the rent that they're asking for, your honor, and that's not when they're saying I defaulted, your honor.
It's up to them that they're going to ask. Asking for lesser rent isn't necessarily illegal or not appropriate. That's their decision. Now, if they were asking for more rent than you very well would be responsible for, that'd be a different situation.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me grab my paperwork.
He's got paperwork.
Okay. So this is what I'm gonna do. I understand that you've made certain federal allegations regarding UCC, but the contract that you said was never 1750 is 1750.
Wait, so whoa. Which contract?
The contract I just shared with you says 1750.
Hold on. Let me go. You guys still pulled it up?
Yeah, I didn't bring that up, but he did say the contract, originally the rent was like 14 something, but the contract he read said 17, so he was incorrect.
Oh, dang.
In 2022? I didn't sign a contract for 1750 in 2022, your honor.
See, you don't seem to know what you're signing, which makes me concerned that you really don't know what you're arguing.
No, your honor, I do understand what I'm arguing. What I'm saying is the document that you're presenting is the one on the screen right now, correct? Can you go to the next? Can you go to the bottom page?
This is it. This is one page.
And that's saying, and the rent total on there is saying for 1750.
Yeah, let me see if I can. You don't see that in the right there in the second paragraph under position 2.
This is not a real document. That's impossible. The rent they send me now is for 1750, and the rent goes up every year. I would like to show proof that this is really a document that I signed and that this was not forged. Because the rent, I can show you proof.
It's electronically signed. What basis do you have?
Sent me a rental agreement for 1750. Hold on, let me check my files. Give me a second. Because all of this was newly added into the discovery stuff. Hold on. Let me check my new messages.
After March of 2023, you didn't sign a new lease, so you would just be continuing on a month-to-month basis.
That we would be continuing on a month-to-month basis?
Because you didn't sign a new lease, and it says that the lease terminated.
They never sent, but they never. Okay, so this is the thing, and this is my whole premise: is not that they just didn't tell me. What I'm saying is that, Your Honor, is that they have not done any due diligence. They did not send me a new contract in 2023 whatsoever. I don't know if they had a staff change or something went on. They never sent the contract to get redone. They did none of their own due diligence for 2 years. Then they showed up saying that I owed them a certain amount of money after I had been paying. So I asked for them to show me that I owed them this money. They dropped all contact with me, Your Honor. And then a year later showed up saying, oh, you owe us $6,500. And so I'm going,
all right. That's a problem.
That's my problem.
Okay, so let me ask Mr. Brown, why did you guys not try to collect rent? Why did it take you so long to start this eviction proceeding?
It's a great question, and I don't have the answer for you. I do know that
this guy sucks at his job.
Mr. Stevenson has not paid. I've gone back on the records, and he has not paid since that time that I stated. And on the ledger, and that's the amount that I'm going on right there, is that the last payment that we received was March 25th, 2023. That's the last payment that we've received.
Okay, and he's indicated that it was, well, that's not necessarily true, because you indicated to me earlier that it was December 2020.
He did.
Yeah, December 2023. So I don't know how you can say the last record, but you're saying the last payment was December of 2023, which is also applicable with the fact that you were kept paying after the second lease was terminated. So you guys were at least continuing on your relationship then, based upon you paying whatever amounts after March of 2023. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give a writ of possession for the 13th. This is a completely appealable order. You can appeal what I've got going on, but I understand that you said you had an ability to potentially buy the property, but at this juncture, you've been in default, and you've been in default for 16 months, and they're actually asking for far less than what you would normally have to owe under the fact that you haven't paid. Now, your UCC arguments, they're still applicable. Like you said, they don't have jurisdiction here, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to stop everything I'm doing and not proceed here, because the issue of possession, as well as the monies that are owed, are totally applicable. Your counterclaims effectively can be dismissed without prejudice, because again, I don't have the authority to rule on them anyway. But I don't think that based upon those arguments, that is going to ultimately prevent what's currently being presented, a default on rent, which is clearly just a rental agreement, as well as possession. I wanted to get resolved, Mr. Stevenson, but like I said, man, when you got 16 months past due and you can't show me contracts, and you haven't shown me that you tried to buy the property.
Asking for 16 months, yeah. They're asking for 4 months of rent.
And that's what they're going to get. They're not going to get 16 months.
Okay, well, I appreciate your honesty, Your Honor, and I understand that this is what your court, how it goes. I got it.
Gotcha. Listen, man,
but
I
will be filing the appeal, and so we'll continue to dance.
You'll have 7 days from today, but bear with me. Let me
tomorrow.
And we will be amending.
I mean, that's all of you guys can do what you want to do.
Hey, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna dance, but I'm still here, so it's all good.
This makes me very uncomfortable.
Well, I'm still here is the problem. You know, somebody that steals.
Guys, can we just hold all the additional commentary and let me finish up the order and then get you guys out of here? Hold tight.
Jesus.
I actually don't see a late fee statement on this contract.
It's the loss discount, Your Honor.
When a $100 discount will be credited to the above rental standard, so that would make it $1,650 opposed to $1,750. But that doesn't say that this is a late payment.
And then additional rent. Let me see where it is. So it's the additional rent in number 5.
Number 5 says, which one are you looking at? 2022 or 2019?
2019 extends 2022 extends 2019. So it states it in number 6 down there.
This is
So
thrilling. It's
standard
almost done. I'm sorry.
standard
Not
just
everything's a fucking barn burner. Sometimes things are slow burns.
extension. It
Sorry.
doesn't say that it's
I'm trying to be entertaining.
the line
in other words,
from the previous one. So I don't see where it says any late fee, but I'm going to keep it at 1750. You tell me. I'm gonna share the.
Alden Undying says, sorry about that, Hannah. My big monitor is a little too far from my nearsightedness. You know, if people were given small standard homes, maybe then land bastards would have to offer a real service. By the way, this is very funny to me. I'm glad it's funny. Juggle, can do.
The screen, and you tell me on this contract.
Yes, sir.
Where it says it.
Number 6, please.
Mm-hmm.
All other provisions.
All other provisions existing agreement refer to the above remain. Does it refer to the prior agreement that it knows what I'm
does.
talking? Where? Where does it say about the one from 2019 being applicable?
It says, management herewith extends that standard. Well, it moved. Let me see if I can read it here. You're correct, Your Honor.
All right, it just ends from there. Jesus Christ. Let's move on.
The thing is, though, I'm a Moroccan diplomat, which implies that I don't fall under that jurisdiction.
Oh, good. Toriador with 50 bits says, furry derail. Please observe the amazingly cute cow figurine I discovered while thrifting, only to find out there are dozens of them to collect in the furry channel. Will do. Find it on the Discord. The containment furry channel. That is cute. It's a cute little cow. I think I've seen those figurines before.
And Mr. Harper, it appears, let's take a look here. Looks like you received an infraction for exceeding the posted speed limit in the school zone and also having an illegible or obscured license plate on your vehicle on February 4th, 2025. You've responded to the issuance of those infractions by requesting a contested hearing. Is that correct?
My license suspended?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I just wanted to make sure those were the 2 infractions that were issued. I just wanted to make sure that was your understanding of why you're before the court.
Okay.
Okay. And you've requested a contested hearing of those infractions. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to begin by reviewing.
No, Fez. I mean, you're not really supposed to wear hats in court generally, but certainly not if you're the defendant. I assume the people in the audience are getting away with it because, like, I don't know how much they enforce the decorum for the gallery, but if you're the defendant or the prosecutor, you're not supposed to wear a hat.
Reviewing the police.
No one is supposed to, but still.
Report. I'm then going to swear you in and give you an opportunity to provide your testimony, okay? So give me 1 second while I review the officer's report. All right, and the court has reviewed the report of officer.
Religious headwear is okay, though. That's true. I'm not sure how they would consider the Moorish thing, because, like, people from, like, the Moorish science temple might consider it a religious thing, but if you're just a Moorish citizen, I don't know if they'd consider it that. For them, it might be just a civic thing.
Sir Brian Danley. Mr. Harper, is there testimony you would like to provide regarding the issuance of the infractions in this case? Servant, as you raise your right hand, do you swear and affirm that any testimony you offer will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, sir, go ahead. What is your testimony regarding the issuance of these infractions?
Let me see. I left home and I turned down the street where that Catholic school is, wherever that school is, right over here. I may have ran about a corner a little fast because there was some cars approaching. Okay, I'll bite the bullet for that. But as I'm going down the road, I don't know how long that the officer was behind me, but when I get to the light, I finally see him pulling up. He wasn't already behind me, he was pulling up. And as I turned in the corner, at the light. He hit his lights. So I'm hearing impaired. I get out of my car to that police officer, whoever. No. First thing he says, get back in your car. I said, no, I'm getting back in my car. I'm hearing impaired. I'm not going to miss something you say. So it started from that. And I'm going to tell you the truth. He started to put his hand on his gun. I told him, don't do it with me. I don't play that. I'm not going to say what I said. I said, but I don't play that. Don't do it. And he attempted, and I let him know, I don't play it. And I wasn't going to play it, so I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't have no problem with police, but when he went like that, that's my problem. Evidently, he didn't like what I was saying to him. I'm telling him, I'm hearing impaired, whatever he doesn't like, that's your problem, not mine, but you're not going to put your hand on your gun with me. And I'm definitely not going to go for it. He called
Yeah, I don't think yelling at the cop over that's probably going to help the situation.
other people. They came or whatever, gave him my ticket. You're going to try and tell me, oh, you can go. I looked at him like, are you crazy? I cursed him out. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not your kid. You're not gonna talk to me like that. I'm a grown man just like you're a grown man. You can't respect me, I'm not gonna respect you. That's how I am, sir. And I'm from the South. I know what it is to respect. I know all that. But when they get that gun in that bag, some of them, they let it go to their head. I don't. I'm gonna give you respect. If you disrespect me, I'm gonna disrespect you. And that's what it was. It was a lot of disrespect. Evidently, he thought he was bigger than me because he had that. You're not. You're a human being.
Okay, so, well, yeah, there are definitely cops that use their badges to bully people and are assholes. Pointing it out to them and being like, you're a dick, isn't gonna help the situation. In the history of assholes, pointing out that an asshole is an asshole has never made the situation better with a cop. Just putting it out there. Not really great for you.
Be just like I am. You bleed just like I bleed. And that's what it was. He didn't like the way I came. He thought I probably was gonna, excuse my language, punk down or whatever, but I didn't. I stood my ground. I'm not gonna let, just because you got a gun and a badge, I'm not gonna do it. I'm sorry, but that's not, sir. I've been through too. I just lost my wife. She committed suicide on Easter. So there's a lot of things that go, and I don't need that stuff like that. And at this time, that didn't happen, but it was things going on. I tried to be cordial. When I got out of my car, I'm here.
That's interesting. The other guy lost someone recently, too. Very sad. Interesting.
I'm hearing impaired. You say something to me, I'm going to miss. And I'm not going to, by you saying something to me, I miss it, I go to jail. And that's what happened. For me, that's what happened. I don't know what he put in his report. I don't know. But that's what I did. Like I said, I may have been speed. I'll bite the bullet for that. But if he put something else in that report, I'll fight it till the day I die.
Yeah, and Mr. Danley, I'll tell you, or Mr. Harper, excuse me, I'll tell you, there's none of that in the report. The only thing that's in the report is him saying he saw.
So my whole point is, I'm not trying to interrupt you.
Okay.
I know I turned the corner, okay?
Yeah.
Now, if I went through that street fast like that, why did he just not come up behind me when I got to that light?
Yeah.
And then I looked in my mirror. I seen he was approaching me and he got behind me. Then he hit his lights as I turned to their Wendy's. And he stopped me in that parking lot.
What about the, you were also cited for having an obstructed license plate.
What's going to become common, Altered Undying?
Tell me about the license plate cover on your vehicle. Does it make it?
That was taken off. I took that off my car because I didn't want no more problem. Now that's taken off. Okay. So I knew that because I know it's a secondary offense, but if they stop you, they can
people losing loved one.
Get you for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It's like I got stopped by Pierce County Sheriff, but they never brought that part up. But each precinct and all that is different.
But you've taken care of that. You've taken that off.
The license plate cover.
Okay. All right.
But it's off my car.
Okay.
So I don't.
Okay. All right. So here's the situation I have, Mr. Harper. I think that based on the speed measuring device, the radar gun, it looks like they have you speeding in a school zone. I've got no reason to doubt the accuracy of that speed measuring device, especially based on your testimony. So I think that the city has met its burden of proving that infraction by preponderance of the evidence. Because you have rectified the issue of the license plate cover, I'm going to go ahead and dismiss that infraction at this time. So I'll find that the speeding infraction is committed,
How are we not even halfway through this? This feels like it's about to be
but I'll go ahead
settled.
and dismiss the license plate infraction at this time, okay? Okay, and Mr. Harper, I assigned that order. Sir, you can come forward and we'll get you a copy of it, okay? Thank you very much for being here. Amari Zion McCrary Bay.
Oh, okay, there's another case.
Islam, Your Honor. Grand rising to you as well.
Good morning. You are Amari Zion McCrary Bay?
Sir.
Good morning. Go ahead and have a seat.
There he is.
This is case 4A0892587. Mr. McCrary Bay was issued an infraction for operating a motor vehicle in excess of the posted speed limit, 11 to 15 miles per hour.
Yeah, they just included the guy in front of him for some reason. Sorry about that.
The posted speed limit on December 11th, 2024.
Never forget.
And let me take a look here. It does appear that Mr. McCrary Bay has a perfect driving record. And so it does appear that you are eligible for a deferral if that is something that you are interested in. You have responded to the issuance of the infraction by requesting a contested hearing. Is that how you would like to proceed this morning?
Yes, sir.
So the court's going to begin by reviewing the officer's report. After I've done that, I'll go ahead and swear you in, and you'll have an opportunity to provide any testimony you would like.
I also submitted some filings as well. I was just wondering if the court had time to review that as well.
Yes, I did review the filing that was filed with the court last week.
All right. And were there any objections to the filings?
There's no objection to the filings. I have reviewed the filing, so I'll let you make whatever argument you would like to make based upon what you've filed. I'll also let you offer any factual testimony you'd like the court to consider, okay?
Sure.
So let me go ahead and review the officer's report first. And the court has reviewed the report of Officer Jeremy Vall of the Lakewood Police Department, signed under penalty of perjury, December 11th, 2024, providing his factual basis for the issuance of this infraction. And Mr. McCrary Bay, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to raise your right hand.
I'm new to this legal, and I'm not Catholic or Baptist. I'm a Moroccan national, so
Yes, sir.
If it's all right, could I put my hand over my heart and say?
Yeah, that's fine. I just need you to affirm that
They don't make you put it on a Bible anyway, right? Like, you can do this or whatever. It's just you swear and affirm you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It's not generally a religious thing anymore. I've seen in the South sometimes they still keep the God part, but...
Whatever you tell the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
What testimony would you like to offer the court regarding the issuance of the infraction in this case?
First of all, on that morning, I was not driving. Driving implies that I was doing business or commerce. At the time, I was traveling because I was going from home to school, which is Clover Park Technical College. And when he had pulled me over, it was over there by Clover Park, but there's a street where I had taken a left, and that's where he had pulled me over at. And he said I was in the school zone going 10 or 15 over, but I had already where I had turned is already past the school zone, and the speed limit for that was 35, and that's when I had went 35, which was after the speed limit sign.
And Mr. McCrary Bay, is there any additional testimony you'd like to offer at this time?
Not at this time. What actually, the stop was pretextual as well, because in what he had told me, he was like, "You don't have a valid driver's license," but he only ticketed me for the traveling infraction. And if I believe that's a pretextual stop, because one, I wasn't cited for no like driver's license, which you don't need a driver's license to do travel.
Oh, this is.
You only need the license to do commerce. And the
Incorrect. Also, this is the most arduous way I've ever heard a sovereign citizen describe this. He's taking the long way around.
pretextual stop is because he gave me a citation for.
You don't know what you'd swear on being an atheist? I'll swear on my copy of, The Blob. Can I swear in on The Blob? I wouldn't fuck with The Blob. The Blob eats people, and then you become a part of the Blob. It's a blob.
For the traveling part, but he didn't give me a citation for the ID.
All hail the Blob.
All right, Mr. McCurry Bay, thank you. And I do want to note for the record that I have reviewed, actually over the weekend, I reviewed the declaration of Mr. McCurry Bay that was filed with the court on May 1st, 2025. So the court is going to make a finding that the infraction was committed. The court has reviewed the report of the officer.
Swearing on the original Blob or the 80s remake, sweet, both at the same time.
It does appear
2 Blu-rays at the same time.
That the officer was utilizing a speed measuring device that was properly certified and calibrated at the time that it captured the speed of the vehicle being driven by Mr. McCurry Bay, or as Mr. McCurry Bay indicates,
Once I wasn't driving, I was traveling at the time, and I wasn't operating a vehicle. I was operating my personal property.
Correct. And so Mr. McCurry Bay has used the verbiage traveling and operating his personal property. The officer is using the verbiage driving and motor vehicle. I understand that Mr. McCurry Bay uses different terminology to describe that phenomenon. I respect that. But it does appear that the speed measuring device that was being
I respect it, but it's not true.
Utilized by the officer was in good working order at the time of the issuance of this infraction.
Also, someone asked me the other day if I'd ever seen The Crazies. I've not seen The Crazies, but I did realize I do have a copy of the original Crazies. I do have that. It was an Arrow release. Toriador says, I'd swear on one of these. If you know, you know. What is it? Pocket reference? I don't get it. There's a reference I'm missing. That's a weird feeling.
Action and did record that personal property, or what the officer refers to as the vehicle, traveling at a speed that exceeded the posted speed limit in a school zone. And so the officer issued the infraction based on that observation.
What's it a reference to? This is the first time in a long time I've not been privy to a reference that wasn't an anime thing.
As well as the officer's personal estimation of the speed at 35 miles per hour in a 20 mile per hour zone. So the court will enter that finding of committed at this time. The court does note Mr. McCurry Bay pointing out that the officer did not issue an infraction for failure to have a driver's license.
I did present him my passport though too.
I do see that the enhanced traveler ID was presented. In response to that,
they have
the court
enhanced traveler IDs now to coincide with enhanced licenses. That's funny.
Note that
we'll get people to buy a second scam license. What a good grift.
officers do have discretion to issue or not issue an infraction, even if there is a factual or legal basis for the issuance of the infraction. And it does appear that Officer Volley did decline to issue that infraction for failure to have a driver's license. However, that does not negate the issuance of the school zone speeding infraction, and the court will find that infraction is committed at this time.
The thing is though, I'm a Moroccan diplomat, which implies that I don't fall under that jurisdiction.
And under that standing for diplomacy or for diplomatic community, If you are seeking exemption from this court's order, that would need to be taken up diplomatically with the United States Department of State.
Okay.
And the court has signed that order. And Mr. McCurry Bay, I'll ask you to come forward and we'll get you a copy of the court's order.
Quick question is, would there
Altered Undying says, sorry to ask a tangent thing, but what's a little known movie you think has aged surprisingly well? Mine is The Running Man. That's a good question. Depends on what you mean by little known, I guess. Does Gummo count? I'll have to think about it.
there be a chance for a deferment if possible?
In and Out is pretty good, yeah.
No,
Kevin
unfortunately,
Kline.
once someone requests a contested hearing and they proceed with a
I only say Gummo because I feel like children are perpetually gross and amoral, so that one's pretty good.
contested hearing, the court does not grant deferrals after a finding of committed has been entered.
All right.
Thank you very much, sir. You can go ahead and come forward and we'll get you a copy of that order.
I have a court case right here showing that my diplomacy and it shows it's a superior court case that establishes our US DDT as well.
And sir, that is something that you can raise on appeal if you would like to bring that up on appeal. Also, again, if you're claiming a diplomatic exemption, that is something that you can also raise with the U.S. Department of State.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Green's life, mate. Remember.
Hey, get fucked.
As long as he moves on there and stops harassing bothering members of the public.
All right,
so
okay.
We're not going to have a drama.
No worries.
Everyone's within their right to
Have you had a look at that?
What is it anyway?
It's the witness statement.
For what?
There is 5 police stations.
Toriador says, sorry for the derail, but have some bits for the trouble, but this is the one I actually bought. Look at the description to see what it's got in it. What is? Preface and personal information, trade names, trademark, references, air, and... Oh, wait, do I gotta do about this item? I'm confused. All of this? Why does it have all of this? I'm confused. That didn't elucidate anything.
Have given event numbers for this to look into the harm and death and injury of the public of Australia through the COVID vaccination.
Oh, right. There's a lot of people.
This is probably more tinfoil. He's a Sovsit cooker from New South Wales.
Hey, sweetie, how about some of
That looks so good. For us, modding is like creating art.
And eBay's got everything we need to take our
Go ahead, Tates. Tell Scott the news.
Hello.
What's up, cutie?
So I had my pre-trial hearing for my jury trial, fake jury, today, and obviously didn't go. We're back at the house, so they know we're here.
Oh.
And
It says, Mama 4 exercising her right to travel, arrested in the school pickup lane for no state registration or license. So this lady got arrested picking her kids up from school because she didn't have a license or registration. That's a shame. Not really, though. That's your fault.
I didn't go. It was at 2:00, and at 3:08, the prosecutor calls me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't answer because it said City of Lumberton. And so I was like, I'm not answering that. So he went to voicemail and he tells me he wants to talk.
Oh, really? Okay.
He's sorry that I couldn't make my pretrial hearing, that he'd like to discuss this by phone.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And his words were, he sounds like he's done with me.
But she hasn't filed any suits yet, you know.
No,
Oh, those are coming. Trust me.
Yeah.
so he says he would like to discuss the matter by phone. It might be more convenient for me. If I could call him tomorrow, preferably at his office, we could talk about my citations. And he says that he thinks perhaps he could work this out and get this taken care of and be done with it. And so he gives me his phone number.
Wow.
Really? Okay.
Wow.
You know, let me just say something real quick, because this is going to be a good segue into what we're about to talk about. But this is proof that whenever you stand up against these cowardly people, they are going to back up. They have nothing but fear. Okay. Who was it? Roosevelt? President Roosevelt said, you have nothing to fear but fear itself, right? So do you realize what he's saying by that? So all our government has against you is fear mongering. Fear, 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 fear. Think about everything they've done to you. And now you have belligerently, the Supreme Court, Justice Marshall said 100 years ago, he said, if you want to prevail, you have to become a belligerent litigant, right? And he used the word belligerent. And you have become a belligerent litigant and told them, I am standing in the faces. I'm not giving up. And now they're giving in. Listen.
I hate whenever they do, because I understand it's difficult to deal with like litigants who are like vexatious or who are sovereign citizens. But if you give them what they want, all you're teaching them is that it works to be an obnoxious asshole.
These lawsuits are going to pile up against these people like nobody's business. And this prosecutor, he's probably doing the smart thing by getting out of this. But those police officers, they've got it coming. With all that said, I want to talk about some things that are going on with our suits and with these common law courts and things of that nature. Unless you have something else to talk about, Jenna.
No, this is all suit related. Let's catch up and see what people want to do.
So I want to bring about, I know we talked about this on the Zoom.
No, it's not motto.
Reiterate it to everyone in this
in case people weren't here. Yeah, let's do that.
This is a specific group. So number one, Donald Trump.
Motto's got some other weird scheme he's running right now where he wants to start like a wrestling league with a bunch of indigenous people in order to make money for his villages. And it's like a 2-hour video, so that wasn't interesting. I listened to it while playing Oblivion. Like, it was kind of outrageous, but not enough to show on stream. It was just very boring, him talking about these nonsense plans about starting a fucking wrestling league with his other old guy. Again, it wasted like 2 hours of my life. I'm glad I was playing Oblivion at the same time. Again, it's not that interesting. Bear in mind, imagine at first you're like, oh, a wrestling thing, that's hilarious, but then it's just 2 hours of them rambling. It's not funny.
Trump has not appointed any new judges since he's been in office. Number two.
If you think sometimes I show you guys dry shit, imagine all the videos I watch that I choose not to show you. I don't show you the majority of the videos I vet. So think about how fucking boring the part of the job is that you don't see, where I'm picking videos.
Speaker Mike Johnson is saying the administrative state has to go and that Congress has the power to eradicate or defund the federal courts, right? So normally under the separation of powers, Congress they couldn't defund the Supreme Court. Okay, let's just put it that way. President Trump could not defund the Supreme Court, and Donald Trump could not order the Supreme Court to do anything, right? Because of the separation of powers. However, all of our federal district courts, they're just, I mean, the word criminal doesn't even begin to describe.
Oh, yikerinos, delegitimizing courts. Right.
These people, but they're all articles.
What if the edited content you're making is a compilation of motto? It might be. Like you guys know, I'm working on the tip goal to do edited content, and one of the things I want to do is called the tin files, and it'll be like profiles basically on different conspiracy theorists we cover. So, you know, Peter or Cece or Hans Wormhat or something, and it'll be just a video that's basically, here's a complete overview of this conspiracy theorist and what they believe and maybe why I think they believe the things they do. I don't know if that'll be the first video I work on. That is something I...
Article 1 courts, they were all organized under Congress. Therefore, Donald Trump can command.
Aldrin Undying says, I've been trying this new thing, Indigenous First, where when I need something, I look to see if the local Indigenous people have what I want first. I got the most amazing mug. Links to follow. Oh, nice. Look at the mug. Cute. I like it.
Across them, and he is the one who appoints judges, but he's not doing that. So, in my opinion, there's a lot of things going on in the background that we're not aware of, that the average person isn't aware of, that I'm watching all.
I found my first viewing of Hans last night. I've enjoyed you pointing out the lore stuff, by the way. I don't usually respond to comments on YouTube, but I do read them for what it's worth. I do read them. I enjoy you pointing out the little lore things here.
These judges recuse themselves by the droves right now, right? But they're still doing their egregious, stupid nonsense, and every time they do, we just pop them with a suit, and then they all shut up and get quiet, right?
Or don't report things like my judge, text orders.
Right. And
bullshit,
this
text orders.
Yeah, there's no more, these cowards aren't doing any more orders anymore, right? They're doing text orders, or they're getting the clerk to send out orders and things of that nature.
They don't think that the judges can do written orders?
And I want to address this. Judge John DeGravels and Judge Shelley Dick and Magistrate Aaron Wilder Dooms and other Magistrate Richard Bourgeois in the Middle District of Louisiana. These are the most egregiously criminal people that I've ever run across, and they are just so belligerently stupid and inept that they have given me all of this evidence, right? So let me give you an example. So years and years and years ago, whenever I started gathering evidence on these people, I filed a suit against the child support agency in Louisiana, right? And I followed all the rules, civil action, civil procedure, all this stuff, named all these egregious violations. And do you know that even after I followed all their rules, I didn't get a trial date, that I got dismissed because some jackass judge down there said that the state Department of Children and Family Services had sovereign immunity. The stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life, right? So now here we are years and years later, and I file a suit at common law against that same state agency for just egregious nonsense. Well, guess what? Here they come again with their same stupid nonsense about, well, you have to file a civil action. You have to serve them, or we're going to dismiss your case. What these dummies have done
they're they're not even saying you can't sue them. They're just telling you the proper process. How does he not understand this? They're not doing it just to be annoying. There's a procedure.
They have given me irrefutable evidence that there is no remedy in the court whenever you're going against a government or a bank and all this other kind of stuff until now, right? These suits at common law, and I personally have the only suits across this country that can get these judges hung by the neck until they stop wiggling, and they know it.
Oh boy, FBI, that's a threat.
And they just keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. So I want to make all these judges just as famous as they want to be, because here's the deal. None of these judges are doing what we pay them to do, and they are going to come to understand, whether they like it or not, that they work for us. We don't work for them. They're not our overlords. None of these judges in any of these federal district courts are doing what they're paid to do. They all sign oaths to the Constitution, and yet every day they violate the Constitution willingly, right? So we, the people, are funding all of these courts under the premise that these judges are actually upholding our rights, but they are misappropriating those funds to further an administrative agenda that abridges our rights. So that just kind of gives you a glimpse into the direction that I'm heading. But there's a lot of good things going on in.
All right, I look forward to seeing them on the news.
In these courts with the administration and so forth and so on.
He always plays Thunderstruck. Bitch, you don't own Thunderstruck. Don't play that. Oh, they also have a video called "We're an Existential Threat to Democracy." That's good. Remember, they don't like democracy.
What's up, guys? It is the Bad Wolf, and do we have a full schedule for you today? We're going to be covering everything that we've learned about right to travel in reclaiming our rights, our freedoms, our liberties. That being said, you guys ready to get started? Let's do it. All right, so this is going to be a longer video, and I'm going to drop everything that
Has anyone ever had one of these cameras that tracks you, by the way, where it looks good? It always looks like shit. Don't buy these goddamn tracking cameras. It always looks bad. Toreador says, damn, they're getting their money's worth out of that $20 Sears headshot. Every single video has her face in it. True.
I personally have learned from myself, the courts, law enforcement, directly, indirectly, everything that I can think of. I don't have anything really just laid out, so it's going to be on the fly. I may miss one or two small things, but I'm going to give you guys like 95% of everything that we know how to do so that you guys are successful and safe doing right to travel.
And like, he's just taking time to close shit? Who cares? No one noticed.
Let's get going. So what is right to travel? Right to travel is something that if you go to
I'm gonna be honest, it just makes it seem like your tripod's drunk.
My website, blacksite32.com or jamesclovett.com or badwolfunincorporated.com, you'll be able to go there, and on the main page, you'll see some videos. One of the videos on there, which is by a lady by the name of Jackie Fig, the video is 52 minutes and 17 seconds. That's the full-length version of one of her main videos. She is an American, red hair, I think Irish descent, and God rest her soul, but she is the one who helped to pioneer right to travel. She was the first one, I believe, in California to openly contest the laws and overstand them in the correct way. It should be noted that all this is education, entertainment purposes only. I do actually personally operate in right to travel, and thousands upon thousands of other people have as well. All right. What is it though? Right to travel essentially is your constitutional right.
Oh yeah, he's a furry, which is fine. I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. I just did want to... I've mentioned this before. He has a fursona. I forget what it's called, but he uses like AI to make it sometimes. Got like a wolf fursona thing. Forget what he calls it. I don't remember the name of his fursona. Like a wolf in a suit.
To operate your vehicle, which we call a automobile or a private conveyance.
Toreador says, oh wow, a wolf persona, how original. Oh wow, a snarky comment on Twitch. How original.
When operating in the private. See, when you register your vehicle to the state, you're waiving a certain amount of freedom and control over your vehicle and that asset. Matter of fact, anytime you register anything, your cell phone, your kids, your house, your car, yourself, whatever it is, when you're registering it with something, and there's no law that says you have to register it to them. There is not. But when you do, you're waiving a certain amount of your freedom, or you're leaving the private where you are superior and have inalienable rights of God, country, and nation to be
These people's understandings of law is so fascinating. They genuinely just think it's magic.
Corporate, public.
He's got a TARDIS in the top left, by the way. I don't know if anyone else sees this. Top left, on top of the shelf on the left, TARDIS spotted.
Registered system. Same thing when you go to register to vote. See, on the public side, everything is registration. On the private, it's recording or a record of such. Keep those words in your thoughts and understand that there's a difference between them. There's a difference between the public and the private. America and the United States corporation. There are two different things right there. There are many different jurisdictions out there, and what we teach is how to operate in the private. So right to travel is something that many people have done and used to be done 100% back when vehicles were first created. The states then decided, hey, we might be able to make some money on that. And if you're going to be moving cargo or using the roads professionally within our shared.
Benigagami says, Hannah, you know these people like democracy when it can be used to convince libs and centrists that they deserve to sit at the adults' table rather than the kiddie table with carrot sticks where they belong. They hate democracy when they have power because that means they're supposed to care about what others think, want, and need. They're fundamentally selfish and self-absorbed. I also think the bigger thing is a lot of them just hear democracy and go, democracy, dem, like them Democrats? They're the devil! Sometimes it's simpler than that.
Physical area.
You wouldn't call the doctor a time driver, would you? Pretty good.
Because let's take Florida, for instance. Florida state is the people and the land, and that's what we the people. If you're from Florida, you'd be a Floridian. Wisconsin, Wisconsinite. New York, New York. Illinois, Illinoisan. California, Californian, and so on and so forth. We own the land. We are the people. We control the Constitution. We control the government. We are the power. You waive that when you take whatever it is you have and you register it to the state of Florida, the state of Wisconsin, the state of California, and so on and so forth. There are two separate things going on within the same physical geographical area.
Okay, I think I've reached overload on Sovsits for today, so we're probably done. I appreciate you all for coming and hanging out and watching Sovsits with me today. Lots of crazy stuff. Tomorrow I will be back to do even more fun. I'm not sure exactly what we'll be doing together. I've been looking into that second QAnon mom that committed the murder. I actually looked into that a lot today and watched a lot of the streams. I was planning on maybe doing that today, actually, as like a Sovsit spotlight, but there's just a lot more info than I could get through today, so I'm still working on that, and sometime in the next week we will cover that QAnon Sovsit murder case, because it's pretty interesting. Can we raid Strawberry 17 Plays? Sure, let me just find that person. Strawberry 17 Plays. Sure. And Toriador with 50 bits says, what do you call it when a furry kills someone? A murder. I don't get it. Murder. Why the extra R's? Anyway. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night. I don't know what the mur means. I don't get it. I don't know what the mur means. They say mur. I've never heard a furry say mur. I guess I don't have furry friends. Sorry. Good night, everyone. I'll see you soon. If you're on YouTube, give it a thumbs up or leave a comment. Both would be great. All right, see you later, everyone. Good night.